Hello, viewers, and welcome back to the One Piece Pirates League official shop edition stream. Today, we are going to see a riveting battle between New York and New Jersey. My name's Universe X, and I will be joined by my amazing co-host.
Thank you so much, Chris. Yes, my name is Steven. Some people may know me as the true champion, lover of all things card games, but especially One Piece. And I am super excited to be here for the second week of the Pirates League official shop edition. It's going to be a good one today.
We are seeing who gets to advance up this bracket to see who is going to be the champion team. And an event like this is really, really cool because it's one thing just to grasp victory by yourself in a tournament, but to actually get together with your peers, your pirates in arms, or I don't know, maybe you guys are Marines. Who knows? But to be able to go up this ladder as a team and really take that victory as a piece to be shared is really, really cool. And you actually get to see a lot of different matchups that normally don't get that same dynamic in just a singles ladder.
Oh, you're so right. And as you can see from the schedule that we have in front of you, we have tons of these matches lined up throughout the next coming months. Today is September 27th, so we are facing, like you said, Brooklyn, New York versus Edgewater, New Jersey. But just a few weeks ago, I got to commentate over the Chicago versus Plano, Texas match, in which Chicago became victorious and then is going to the semifinals that'll be happening in November. But be sure to stay tuned because the Pirates League is not an event that takes place over one day. It takes place over a course of many weeks. The next one that'll be happening is going to be October 11th between San Francisco and San Jose. And then finally, the final quarterfinal match will be October 25th between San Diego and Cincinnati.
So. We actually have the prizes shown right here. And just to give you the quick rundown, just the store qualifier is going to have the participation prizes of the OPO5. When you're at sea, you fight against Pirates promo, but the winner is going to get that same promo, except it's going to be in the silver foil. It is a reprint, but we've got this excellent art that eventually you guys will be able to see. We're going to work on getting that up in the next week or the next event or so. But then you have the online quarterfinals that's going to give you the participation prizes of the promotion sleeve premium mat, Volume 2 Nami and Sanji. And then the winning team is going to get the limited card sleeve premium Marshall D Teach sleeves. So these are going to be pretty cool, just like things to spice up your deck, a little flair, whether you want to use them on your deck, your Dawn, things like that. And then we're moving on to the online semifinals, which is going to give you the for participation, you're going to get the promotional sleeve, premium mat, Volume 2 Nami and Sanji again. And then you're going to have the winning team winning the Pirates League finalist player cards. And then on to the finals, where you're actually going to get another iteration of the premium mat, Volume 2 Nami and Sanji. But you're also going to have a trophy, not just a card, but an actual trophy to take home and just pretty much flex with upon all of the competition.
Yeah. 1000%. These prizes look super awesome, and I know every single shop and every single representative for those shops is excited to fight for those prizes. And as Chris was saying, this format is so cool. I've been a lover of team events for a long time, but we're doing team events in a special way for today's Pirates League. Basically, instead of having all three representatives from each shop play at once, we're going to watch each match one at a time, but the same rule applies. If just two members of a given shop's team wins their matches, it's considered a victory for that shop, and they will advance to the next round. But because this is a show and we want to give you guys all the entertainment possible, no matter what happens, y'all are going to see 3 games of One Piece played today. So keep in mind that even if a shop goes 2-0, there will still be a third match.
So yeah, we don't want you to miss a single bit of the action. So just like Steven said, we are going to watch all 3 games. And so yeah, I hope you guys are in for a fun little event of One Piece.
What do you think is more nerve-wracking, being the first person on your team to play or being the last person on your team to play?
Ooh,
not sure.
Ooh, so I've done a fair amount of 3v3 tournaments for other games as well. I actually don't. It's weird. If you are the first up, that generally does set the mood for the entire game. Like if you have a complete stomp, your team has that morale boost. You know what I mean? If you lose, the pressure's there. But I have to say, going third when you're 1-1 is definitely more nerve-wracking than anything you could possibly be doing. But going first, I think there could be a little jitters. But I think it has to, going third specifically when you're 1-1, definitely has to take it.
It's like what's more pressuring, being the person that everyone's relying on, or being the person that is entering the unknown, you know, being, oh, we'll play before anything else happens. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think I'm going to agree with you, though, that being the anchor, being the person that might have to hold the entire team on your shoulders and advance to the next round, that's pretty tough.
Yeah, and it takes a certain amount of like fortitude to go first, because when you go first, in a lot of these cases, you don't know what you're going to be playing, and of course, as you go through, especially if you have been able to glean the knowledge around before the match or anything, you might be able to narrow down what's going to be played. But when you go first, there's 3 options, and you may not know which one it is. You just have to kind of hope that it's a favorable one, or at least one you can handle. And then, of course, like I said, you're setting the tone for the rest of the matches. So yeah, but no.
And like we're coming off of Cardfest too, so right, like the OP12 meta has never been as developed as it is right now. That's what format these players are playing with today, and I'm sure a lot of them looked at the results of Cardfest and were like, oh my gosh, my deck's unplayable now, or oh my gosh, I need to make sure that I can handle if this kind of tech is thrown against me. I know Zoro, Blue, Purple, Luffy, and Rayleigh is on everybody's mind right now in terms of the decks to watch out for, but there's all kinds of, you know, sneaky cards that can just come up out of nowhere that I feel like it's really tough to prepare for. And even though these players are usually some of the most skilled or best representatives for their given shop and local area, this tournament's not going to be easy.
Yeah, when you have a format where there's a strong defined upper crust of the meta, but a lot of other decks are viable, you get into this interesting space of you need to prepare for the upper crust, but sometimes preparing for those decks pulls you in a direction that makes you vulnerable to some of the rogue decks, some of these, like, you know, returning champions that may have gotten some retroactive support, may have gotten a new card that gels really well with the deck. And so it makes it very, very interesting in events to see where those rogue champions could rise up and just take an event or take a win that could, you know, just clinch the actual 3v3. So it's going to be very interesting to see the matchups.
Yeah, and I think something that I got to experience last time was the sort of camaraderie that is kind of happening, because essentially we're having local communities go up against each other. Even though it's just 3 players, there's probably like 10 or 15 players at that shop right now that are like watching them play. They're their friends, they're their family, they're their colleagues that they test with all the time. And so it's one thing to like have a tournament where like I'm the only one showing up, or even a normal team event where it's like the 3 of us. But now we're having like actual shops team up with each other to fight against other shops, and there's like this really fun community aspect to it. So everyone watching at home, keep an eye out on those players. If they look off to the side, they're either talking to their teammates or they're listening to the cheers and or the boos. Maybe people might not be happy with their performance of their community members.
Yeah, it definitely gives a different vibe when you have the communities coming together against other communities, because like I know personally, just going to store regionals outside of my state, like I definitely had a bunch of people a couple states up come down to a store regional for a game I play, and they did pretty well. They did pretty well in our backyard, and we had to sit with that for like a month and a half before we went up to Philly and then returned the favor, taking the top 3 spots and then 5 and 6 as well. And it just it makes this like really cool like rivalry between the areas and whatnot. I think that's really cool. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I love that. I love stuff like that when it comes to competing in card games, and just having this ability to kind of do it on a more countrywide scale, I think is really fun, because these shops are not actually in New York and New Jersey, like going over, like visiting. It's happening remotely, which is very exciting and can lead to, I think, some pretty fun interactions. Oh, I just want to give everyone at home a quick update that we have our players set up, but we're just getting everything set up on the tech end to make sure y'all can watch those games. As I said, it is happening virtually, which can cause a little bit of hiccups here and there, but just be patient. We'll give you guys some One Piece games very soon.
Indeed. We definitely just want to make sure that we give you guys the best gameplay experience possible. So sometimes there are a couple delays just so we can make sure that everything's going according to plan.
But it'll all be worth it, I promise, because the drama that can unfold once one team gets a point and then maybe another team steals a point, or everything's riding on the shoulders of that second player, could also be very exciting too.
Not the drama mongering. No, I mean, we live for the plot. So
I do. I'm a little messy sometimes. I love me some drama. Don't worry about
it. Oh my gosh. So what are you most excited to see here today? Like if you could just pick a dream matchup. to see on camera.
Oh, two decks. Ooh, there's a lot of. I think it's kind of like you said. Like there's the upper crust of OP12, which I think are really awesome decks. I love watching Zoro play. I love watching Rayleigh play. I love watching Blue Purple play, even with the latest restrictions to it of not being able to play Katakura and Linlin. I actually think that makes the deck more exciting to deck build with and experiment with to figure out what actually works in combination with this powerful leader card. But if I had to pick like a favorite leader of mine, it's always going to be like either Vegapunk or something blue. So if I see anything like that today, I'll be very happy.
See, I mean, it's not anything new. There's plenty of people that sit in this side of the fence already, but I am a Zoro stan. And so I could not have been happier.
Don't say.
I could not have been happier when I saw like how strong Zoro was coming out of this set. And so no, I'm excited to see that deck. I know lots of people are kind of like, you know, the top dog or one of the top dogs always has that target painted on its back. But I just love the boy. I love the Mosshead. So I'm super excited to hopefully see that on screen. If I could have a dream matchup, and I know people are gonna give me flack for this, I just want to see somebody roll in with a Sanji deck for no reason. Just the Zoro deck can beat it, and me to call that canon. Like that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Everyone, it's the monster duo. It's not the monster trio. Sanji, you can go in the kitchen, bro. Don't worry about this.
Oh,
let Luffy and Zoro take it. That would be awesome. I'd be here for that. I think, yeah, I really do love all the new cards that Zoro got, and just the idea of this pirate assassin feeling like one in the card game just feels super thematic to me in ways that I really like. And the fact that it's coming off the back of getting a lot of really cool Dracule Mihawk cards that work in this slash character focused archetype, you know, like the theme of OP12 being all the masters and all their students just really made me happy. And having that pay off in the sense of competitive play and people taking decks like this and winning things like Card Fest is just so exciting.
Oh yeah. I will say on a thematic note, because Bondi, if there's anything that they are really good at, it's making sure the cards are thematic. I love how Zoro gets to have that dual attack, and even the restriction on what he can attack after he stands is very Zoro. Like when there's big game on the board, he goes for it. If there is another boss on the other side of the board, he can go for it again. I like that. The thing that makes me laugh is that since Zoro's deck is kind of filled with people that he's associated with across, like, you know, most of his art, like we got like Shimosuke's chilling there. Then I'm like, bro, what is he doing? What is he doing on the battlefield right now? Like even to a degree, Tashigi, I'm just like, Shanks versus Rayleigh versus Tashigi. Like he's got a lot of like characters that have long since not been relevant factors in the story, and it just makes me laugh every now and then just seeing how many of those bodies are in the deck. But I'm excited to see that. I know again a lot of people are tired of it, but when it comes to blue purple Luffy, I am just like coming from set one and just being here as this game's progressed. It is insane to see a card or a deck generate the amount of cards that deck does. Like it is just night and day from where One Piece was initially with its card advantage to see a deck constantly just accruing card advantage, having that counter power, being able to find their options, being able to tech one-ofs because your deck is constantly searching top 5 on top of searchers that it already has in the deck. So I'm here for it. Like there's a lot of cool stuff going to go down in this tournament. There's a lot of cool stuff that got introduced in this format, and it's crazy also to see that deck survive what would be a massive nerf to its playstyle.
Yeah, they basically said, oh yeah, that thing that y'all have been doing for the past like couple months of playing this deck, you can't do it anymore. And they're like, don't worry, we'll find a way to use these cards because they are that good and they are that cool. Like you're saying, card advantage is always king, and there's nothing wrong with having card advantage stapled onto his 6K leader. Turns out, turns out it's pretty good.
Super powerful. Now with that, speaking of like the restrictions, I know a lot of people kind of felt like this is a restriction on deck building, but even I think since set 5-ish, set 4 or 5, I was already kind of talking on like my channel about how I really wanted there to be some sort of restriction on crews and the bodies that you can use. Oh, okay, we just actually got news that the tech issues are fixed, so we're gonna actually be able to go over the game soon. Am I right?
Ooh, that sounds fun. It'll be cool to see. I wonder what matchups we have for this first round.
We are going to find out actually right now. So we see a Vegapunk versus a Zoro.
I swear I did not know. I swear I did not know that my boy was here. Brian from Edgewater, New Jersey. I think you're my favorite. I'm impartial, I promise, but I think you're my favorite. Uh, okay, so we got Zoro versus Vegapunk in the first round. Brian from New Jersey versus Will from Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah, this is very interesting. I mean, matchup aside, who would have thought that both of our favorite decks would be paired up against each other?
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. The Zoro stand versus the Vegapunk head. Oh my gosh, that's so crazy.
All right, let's go New York.
and if this is the Vegapunk build that I think it is, because ever since the banning of Kingdom Come, this deck kind of can't really play control anymore because there's no way to deal with really big characters in the late game. So it's kind of adapted to be a more aggressive deck that includes pretty much every single Egghead and or Scientist card you can think of that's released since EBO2. So if that's the version we're looking at, we could see a very interesting and dynamic match between these two decks.
Yeah, and we have a deck that's able to put out a lot of pressure, but not necessarily like at aggro speed, versus a deck that will be putting a lot of pressure at most certainly full blast. And I'm excited to kind of see which amount of pressure comes out on top.
I mean, Zoro looks at 2 life and goes, I think that'll be easy work. But I think Vegapunk might shock him with the tricks he can pull.
Yeah, exactly. That 2 life is nothing to Zoro, but Zoro still has to get to fighting speed in order to start really like taking chunks out of that. But I think one of the biggest things is Zoro's ability to rest cards and swing into them is going to definitely play very well against Vegapunk's storm of free bodies and whatnot, or near free bodies.
Yeah, it's interesting that Zoro is a aggro deck that has to have the condition of also controlling your opponent's board before you can attack them multiple times with really powerful attacks. It kind of gives you the best of both worlds and makes it play more like a mid-range deck, even though the leader screams, just turn sideways and hit stuff. You'll be fine.
With more steps, it's all good.
So here we go. Brian is going first, and they're going to be activating their first Dawn. And we're going to be bringing out Pythagoras coming from the hand. We love to see it, but no additional card because we do not have the subsequent amount of life. Oh, the power of that Vegapunk leader. Oh, then we see just an activate 2 Dawn and pass from Will. Going to go back over to Brian, activate their 3 Dawn, and here we go. We get to now start swinging. That's why I said this is a yellow aggro Vegapunk deck. Even though the leader can't swing, all these free bodies you play can.
100%. Yeah, so you got Pythagoras, you have the on KO ability, so that's going to be some nice insurance. It's going to cause Zoro to have to sequence how he ends up KOing just Vegapunk's cards, because you don't want him having any recursion. But he goes in with a 5k swing or a 6k swing and gets a life immediately from it. So this is very interesting. A passing turn and then the immediate taking of life, followed up by a Lilith.
Yeah, this is something I always love to see in One Piece of like, oh, I don't need life right now. I need cards in hand. I'll just take this. Thank you for the free card.
Oh, all right. And I think he's adding a Nami to hand. Yes.
Speaking of removal, that's a really awesome piece for the Vegapunk den to kind of control Will's board in case anything gets too crazy.
And I mean, I say Vegapunk's off to a good start. Bodies on board, searches in hand.
Yeah, I would say the only thing you would have really loved to see here was like the stage, if we play at the Egghead stage, because that would have been just a really good use of that 2 lingering Dawn we had. But Lilith, for 1 cost, 5k body, we'll take it.
All right, so now we're off to the races. We're actually going to be playing a Perona into it just to get a Tashigi off the top of the deck for later. Very, very good card, enabling Zoro to do exactly what he needs to do.
You know what that means, Chris. Next turn we're swinging. Next turn we're swinging multiple times. We're swinging this turn too.
I was like, we're swinging multiple times today.
We've got math on our side. 3 Dawn left over. Put it on Zoro. Swing 8k into the Pythagoras, I assume.
Yep. And I would say that this is a pretty good point you want to end up. Yep. Okay. So this is actually really, really nice. He swung on the Pythagoras to make sure that he could KO it without there being anything in the trash. But to make sure that he counteracts this and knowing that it's going to go anyway, he just ended up countering out with his hand. So it'd be in the trash to then be revived with Pythagoras, getting this play off.
These are the moves I like to see. Literally, Vegapunk is big brain. We love to see those kind of plays.
bringing out Edison to draw 2, discard 2, and that was just a wonderful play. Knowing that you're going to lose the body, but making the most out of it, that's just exactly what we want to see in an event like this.
And now Will is just deciding, I guess, whether or not he's going to attack the leader here, and he is going to untap and swing, revealing. Do we have a trigger? That's the beauty of playing a yellow deck like this. Everything's got trigger pretty much in the deck.
Let's see.
Oh, we're just gonna add the card to hand. Interesting. I wonder what it could have been.
No trigger, or at least a trigger he didn't want to use, but I would say no trigger because most of these bodies just kind of come out for free.
Yep, and now Brian is just deciding what best order to go. Now that we have 5 Dawn, we can probably start playing multiple bodies per turn, but we do need to start worrying maybe about our life total. I wonder if we're going to be putting any Egghead cards into life rather than playing them to the board in this matchup. It all depends, I guess.
Especially since Tashigi is live. So we're going to see a counter out of hand with Hiyori.
Makes sense to me. We're going to swing here with the Lilith.
And it makes sense. I mean, now we're going to take that, get the card. Do have to be a little careful because Vegapunk can just really start putting that pressure on board, body after body. And now I do believe through the glare that is the Nami. Oh, wait. Yes.
No, that that was Dedashi.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. I saw the red and I thought that was the Nami. But yeah, he's searching top 5 to pick out 2 cards with trigger other than this card itself and add them to his hand and put the rest of them at the bottom of his deck. Great card for Vegapunk.
Amazing inclusion ever since set 9. This card has been an absolute staple in a yellow deck like this. You used to be able to search for Kingdom Come. Can't really do that anymore. But we'll take getting the 5-drop Vegapunk and the 5-drop Luffy every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
I mean, the very good cards in this deck. I mean, with the 5-drop Vegapunk being from EVO2, a excellent bit of support for what this deck is trying to do. And then, of course, Luffy just being Luffy. Like, Rocket Luffy is just pretty good.
Oh, it turns out that card's pretty nice, I've heard. But I guess the question is, like, what's the unit that Brian plays? Because weirdly, both those cards are not the most valuable right now. But here we're just going to use the 1-drop event that also lets you search for cards and just kind of filter, look for our picks that we can use either this turn, maybe later on throughout the rest of the game.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this right now, and it is going to be nice to have the removal for Luffy, but seeing as that there's so many cards that rest and then destroy, it would be a little weird for me. Like I playing the Luffy out first. I mean, I guess you have to get the damage on board, but like he just to be shot out before he even gets to use it. But
because you know that your opponent has a Tashigi in their hand, you know what I mean? Like they're going to Tashigi, res something, give their leader 3 extra Dawn. So we're just going to throw out the 5-drop Vegapunk. This card's usually pretty solid when your opponent has maybe a bit wider of a board, but basically you can look at the top 5, add up to 1 scientist type character other than Vegapunk, and then if your opponent has 2 or less characters, trash a card from your hand, which because we do have 2 or less, we're going to lose a card from our hand. But we get the filter for another Pythagoras, which is pretty cool.
Yep, and now that we actually are starting to get the trash set up, anytime this Pythagoras goes to the trash, we're just going to get the insurance rebate on it. So the field is actually starting to get a little scary. Like we're getting to a point where there's almost, if all the attacks go through, there's almost game on board. But I mean, if there was any deck that could really wreak havoc on a field like this, it is going to be Zoro.
Yeah, 100%. But if you're Will here, who do you rest with Tashigi? It's probably just going to be the blocker Vegapunk, so that way you can have full control over what you attack into and not let Brian dictate what you attack into. But the problem with that is that means you could leave this Pythagoras around, and that's a pretty big 6K body that's annoying to get rid of. And we're actually going to go with no Tashigi this time. We're going to go for the patented 3-drop. That's what I call it, Cavendish, because it gives you back that 2 Dawn rebate when it gets played.
I mean, it is what you want to see. Like when Tashigi comes down, right now he'd only essentially have like 1 attack, so to speak. So I mean, having Cavendish up and hopefully having it survive is going to get him to a point where if he does play Tashigi next turn, he has multiple attacks to back the resting. And I can see that. It's like a little bit of it's a passive play that's going to hopefully springboard him forward next turn as long as he doesn't get clapped up next turn. which I think is fair enough.
Ooh. And
Oh.
there we see, I believe that's two sword style, which will allow him to KO two cost 4 or less characters that are rested. So this Lilith and this Edison are not long for this world.
This is a huge play because before playing that Cavendish seemed like a little murky with how much was on the board, but using two sword style is attempting to just ensure that there is no possible way that he is defeated next turn, which makes the Cavendish look super threatening when he can play Tashigi next turn.
Now, I will point out that Brian has the Nami in their hand, I believe, still, which means they can just use that on their turn to get rid of this Cavendish. And because Will is now tapped out, there's not going to be any protection for your slash characters put into play, which could be pretty rough to see. Oh, and just a heads up, guys, there's going to be a bit of a technical issue here, so we're just going to freeze the game for a second while we fix that. But like I said, this game is kind of heating up. We're in the middle of everything. The big swings are starting to happen, and I think right now we're just kind of fighting for board presence for both these players. It's kind of the mentality I'm seeing.
So yeah, we're just trying to make sure New Jersey's camera is ready to go and broadcasting correctly. But it's now that we have this pause right here, I think this is actually really cool and a really cool matchup to see in general, because we do have Egghead playing out a slew of characters, but we do have Zoro with the ability to KO them if they're rested, attack one while still pushing damage on the leader, whittling down the hand. And this is actually a really nice matchup. Like, this doesn't look like it's going to be a particular blowout on either side. Both decks are going to be able to do what they're going to do and have to deal with the other deck accordingly. It matches up really well.
I mean, both decks are really low to the ground, essentially, and they're both trying to jockey for this sort of mid-range style of play where they play things on curve in a way that is, useful, and then pushing the tempo accordingly. I do think you're right, though, that Zoro weirdly is going to have to take a more control-y game plan than maybe it's used to doing, because Vegapunk is just that good at spamming bodies on the board, and once we start getting into like the 7, 8, 9, 10 Dawn turns, we'll be able to see 2, maybe even 3 characters being played down while maybe even recovering a life every single turn. And so there is like a natural clock that you can be on against Vegapunk unless they just run out of cards, which is totally possible as well.
Yep. So, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. Zoro may feel like a very aggressive deck, but it does have the ability to control board quite well. And it looks like we're going to have to see the gear shift from a more aggressive deck to a board control. And that really is what you have to do in a lot of matchups. When you get into a matchup, especially when both you guys are trying to do the same thing, both you guys are trying to be the control deck, the mid-range deck, the aggro deck, one of you, before the game even starts, or maybe in the first couple turns, seeing your hand, seeing the tempo, needs to decide which one of you guys is going to be the aggressor and which one of you guys is going to be the defender. And that really does shift. If both of you guys are trying to just punch each other out, it's really just going to come down to how you guys curve out in the draw. But if one of you guys makes the mental choice to be the control part of that matchup, then yeah, you can really start changing your game plan and making something work outside of the normal wheelhouse. And I think with Vegapunk's aggression, that's just what Zoro's going to have to do.
100%. And as you saw, I think Will, our Zoro player, is taking a bit more conservative route, not just with the way that they're approaching the play, but also with how they're protecting their life. I do think they're going to use their life as a really important resource for prolonging the game, in the sense of they need as many turns as possible to eat through all this advantage and pressure that Vegapunk is doing while establishing their own. And it looks like we are back. Enough talking about this game. Let's watch it unfold.
You'll love to see it. So yeah, it looks like two sword style definitely just resolved.
Yep, and we lost the Edison and the Lilith, but we keep the Pythagoras that is in the active position.
Correct. And that Pythagoras is a ticking time bomb, because eventually it will be KO'd and we just get to see something come out of the trash. And the trash is fairly loaded. We've got a draw 2, discard 2 filter. We've actually got just quite a few things in there that are going to work pretty well. Yeah,
Lilith this lets us get a free +1 if we bring it back from the trash, which is super awesome. So here we see Brian going into his next turn. Let's see if we can rebuild after that 2 sword style.
Yeah, I would say that because it represents another attack, the Cavendish has to go, because it's just going to be such an extension of next turn's play. It's actually very interesting now that that you bring that up, that because we saw the Nami get searched.
Yep,
So
it's
it was
in
very
Brian's
interesting
hand.
to end up playing out the Cavendish. But we're gonna actually get another iteration of Dirashi.
Oh, well, I mean, this to me says Brian has another Darashi in hand because we're gonna go for that patented pay 6, activate 2 Darashis, and then pay 1 just to play Nami down and get the free KO. That's what my read of the situation is. Or we're gonna play something like a Lilith and then play the Nami, because basically when you have your Phi costs really cost 1, there's just so many fun Dawn mapping you can do to get the most out of every single Dawn you spend. So I'm really excited to see if we do anything like that this turn from Brian.
And looking at this, what I believe that's another Lilith, and then what was the other card picked up? Frankie?
Yeah, that was Frankie and Nami as well. Yeah.
Oh, Nami. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm squinting through this glare as hard as
Oh no,
possible.
sorry. It was Frankie. It was Frankie and Lilith, I believe. Frankie and Lilith.
Okay, yeah.
I believe.
Okay. So my eyes do not deceive me.
No. Different redheaded lady.
Yeah. There's because there's the other. I think that's the rare Lilith.
No, that's
no,
the alternate
SR.
art
They're
Lilith.
both SRs. They're both SRs. Okay, got you.
Yeah. That was the alternate art. Yeah, it's the same card, just looks very pretty. That one does.
He played the alternate. He just searched out the normal SR. Okay. So we got that, and now he's got to decide what he's going to do with this. I still think that getting Cavendish off the field is a just priority for this turn.
1000%. That much Dawn advantage on Will's side would be so hard to come back from. Because then Will could, in theory, start playing multiple characters per turn. And if that's happening, Brian will definitely lose that race, because Will's deck is better at controlling the board than Brian's is, because Brian has to attack the leader, whereas Will kind of doesn't have to.
Yeah, and then just pound for pound, while like Vegapunk's like cards do a lot, like as we go through this game, Zoro is going to start playing meteor bodies, and it's just going to kind of snowball.
That's a very good point. Like I did describe both these decks as very low to the ground, but there could be some sneaky 8-9 drop cards that can just find their way from Will's deck onto the board. And again, without Kingdom Come, there is no answer for those cards in the Vegapunk deck, and they can just run away with the game if left unchecked. So that's definitely something Brian needs to watch out for as the game progresses, if there are any big bombs like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So it looks like there's going to be another quick little pause here. I think the players, while we can see them pretty perfectly, I think maybe the players are having a bit of a trouble with the feed, and maybe they can't see the other person's board, and they want to make sure that the quality of the tournament is, maintained no matter what.
Right now, there is some deliberation there. They're just making sure that everything is on the up and up. Obviously, just like Steven said, we can see everything perfectly, the players, the board. But I mean, circling back to this, I don't think, we've been casting pretty well so far. I don't think there's any way he leaves the Cavendish on board, because next turn, just being able to flood the board, actually have the standing Dawn to keep going, getting the leader effect off. Like, there are just so many things that are going to be able to happen next turn. And so, you have to be at this point where what I think at least a minimum of two attacks that can go towards the life, and 1 attack that can go towards a body. There's a lot of damage that he can do. And since there's only 1 more life from Vegapunk right now, chances are that after that first life is taken, or that last life is taken, the cards are coming out of Brian's hand. So we definitely, this turn is a kind of important turn to make sure that next turn isn't a full tilt turn from Zoro.
Yeah, because imagine if Zoro got to go play Tashigi, attack with Cavendish in the same turn. That would be an absurd amount of advantage. But there we see the Nami coming down for the 1 cost of Vegapunk's ability. We're going to discard there. I believe our hand size is more than 4, which means we're not going to get the draw, unfortunately. If we just had 1 fewer card in hand, we would have been able to draw off this Nami as well. But we did discard the Lilith, and we're actually going to swing 7 with the Pythagoras here. We're going in to the red zone.
Yep. And I think trying to push right here just really shows us. I mean, 1, yes, if you have the extra Dawn, make the optimal numbers. But I don't think Brian wants this game to go on for terribly much longer, because we're starting to get to the territory where Zoro can play just about anything in his deck, minus maybe a higher cost tech, or just a boss Mihawk. So we're at a point where you just don't want him to have any more momentum. And so yeah, getting rid of the Cavendish is great. Punching in for 7 is amazing, and you just want to start trying to close out the game as Vegapunk.
I mean, and talking about known cards in hand, we know Will has a Tashigi in hand, which means this Nami is also probably not long for this world. And that's a much more juicy attack target for Will rather than the Pythagoras, because the Pythagoras replaces itself. So that could be the play we see him going for here.
Yeah, it's also a little scary because while Pythagoras plays out a card from grave, yeah, the sequencing is just still very important because like you don't want to put the Nami in the trash for then the Pythagoras to try to get at it. But Pythagoras is 4 or less, so yeah, that's fine. So yeah, I guess yeah, Nami in the trash and then taking out the Pythagoras if you can another turn from now. He still got Dawn up. But I think Perona is only a 2 right now. Yeah. Okay, so Frozen again. Okay. We'll have a lot of time. We'll have a lot of time to talk about how this is going to work. So, I mean, getting the Nami off the board takes a little pressure off of him. Right now, in his trash, what are some of the best things he can bring out right now? I mean, if he needs to dig, he's got the Edison.
He could just play Lilith probably, but yeah, because like it depends on like if the cards in his hand are more valuable than blind, maybe 2 cards from the deck, I guess, if Edison is better. But if you're just talking raw card advantage, Lilith is definitely the card I probably would bring back. But it's interesting to think about, like, do you think Will can just afford to let this Pythagoras rock for the rest of the game and just kind of like ignore it? If that makes sense, like, what's it gonna do? Attack for 9? Okay, I got 2 life, cool. I'm gonna put my opponent on a clock because they're at 1 life. If they ever activate Vegapunk's ability to recover, I don't think that's going to be good for them unless they specifically put a Shasta in there, so that way they can play it off the life and get a blocker that way. And if they do, I'm green. I have plenty of ways to handle blockers. So in my mind, Will is just going to let that Pythagoras rock and just start punching the board that isn't Pythagoras and then punching Vegapunk in the face to just get that life total as low as possible.
Yeah, I mean, being the 6K base is kind of rough because going up to 7 is going to be able to chunk out Zoro's hand. But we do have like events that are going to help mitigate that, not have you minusing 2 every single time necessarily. I do think that, oh, we are back. We are not only back, but it looks like we're back mid-attack. But we have the Nami rested by Chigi, and now we're having Zoro deciding where it wants to go. And I think that one of the things is kind of rough is that, yeah, he decided to hit the Nami, but there was a little bit of decision there, and you have to think that Pythagoras is a bigger body, like actually is a bigger body.
But something that I think is like a nice thing for Will is that yellow, specifically the Vegapunk yellow deck, probably has no rush. Like the attacks on board are the attacks you got to worry about, and if all you got to do is worry about the Pythagoras 3 turns from now, I think that's better than giving your opponent a free +1.
Correct. And what we just saw here was a potential trigger, but Brian decided not to use it. And then we're actually getting a smoker. Actually, not a smoker.
That's the Shigi, but it's smoker.
Yeah.
You are correct both times. You were correct both times.
I said smoker, then I was like, wait a second. No.
You're like, why is smoker not smoking? Interesting.
But we do have the protection now.
Right, so our Tashigi is safe.
So that's actually a very, very good thing to put down on the board. So now we have Tashigi being actually safe from a future Nami, from like just a bunch of things that could get it off the field. And he's really trying to establish his board to try to close out game probably in the final or the following turn if nothing gets taken out.
I mean, there could be a world where Brian goes, 5-drop Luffy, blow up, and then a Nami afterwards, because this deck is that good at being non-resourceful. But that would require a lot out of Brian's, I think, 5 or 6 card hand. So probably not. We'll have to see what Brian goes for here. Oh, am I psychic?
Got it.
Oh, he doesn't want to make me happy. I guess he wants to just slow roll this play, maybe sandbag a couple of cards, probably.
I mean, he definitely has to think pretty hard about it, because he probably has to be thinking whether or not Vegapunk's effect at any point should be used to heal, because this is a scary point to be in. And we're seeing another activation of Derishi. That card has floated into his hand multiple times.
Yes, we love drawing 2 cards every turn cycle. It's the best. So I believe that first card he grabbed was Edison, and then the next card we're debating. I mean, at this point, we might have cycled our entire deck, by the way. I'm not sure how many cards are left in Brian's deck, but there's a lot of things put to the bottom.
Mhm. And I know it can't be anything he can help, but is that
It's a Lilith.
a list? Okay. I'm laughing that the one spot that he decides to put his cards when he searches them, it seems to be the only spot with glare on it on the
He
entire
did it
board.
on purpose. He did it just to spite us. All right, and there we see the Nami coming down. This will attempt to get rid of maybe the Tashigi, but I believe the other Tashigi will be able to protect. So no matter what, Tashigi's going down.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, since Tashigi can't protect Tashigi, like his board is vulnerable. But I mean, it's. I think it was a play just to make sure that his future plays are set up, and I like that a lot. But given that position, getting rid of that Tashigi now before something gets played that can actually be protected is very important.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I forgot that Tashigi cannot protect Shishigi. So no matter what, Will is. But then, well, then I'm surprised we chose to get rid of that one then. But I guess you're right. The threat of something other than this Tashigi being protected is way worse than just the Tashigi by itself. And being able to put the Quasar in the life to potentially bring back one of our eggheads from trash is going to be a really nice sort of edge case for Brian to play around all this removal that Will is doing. Because think about it this way: if Will spends an attack trying to get rid of something and then spends his next attack attacking the leader,
Yeah.
Brian just gets a unit, a character for free. So
Yeah, that was very much so that was very much so like kind of like a bait check. Like you play out the Tashigi with a Tashigi on board, and the juicier one is like just looking at you. But if you get rid of the bigger Tashigi, then you potentially leave the board protector on the board for later. And I think that Brian made the correct choice in just making sure that that Tashigi was not on the board for future plays and just getting rid of it right from the get go.
Oh, and Brian countering out of this Tashigi attack is so huge. And there we see another Tashigi coming down for Will after already playing the 4-drop Mihawk. That's what I'm calling it. It's a 4-drop Mihawk. You cannot tell me otherwise. And we're going to be resting that Nami once again. And are we just going to smack two things with Zoro here, swinging into the Nami and then swinging into Egghead? Do you attack the Egghead here? I think you kind of have to because he'll just gain more life on the next turn, right?
Yeah, really, you want to keep the momentum, you want to keep the pressure here, and I think you just have to be forward at this point. Like with the bodies on board, Egghead cannot actually like end you, and so I think you just actually need to just keep pressing.
But here we see the EBO2 Vegapunk coming out. That's to let him play an additional character. And because Will has plenty more characters now, we're not going to have to discard. And there we see, I believe, I always forget this young man's name.
Oh, the one he just played?
Yeah, it's Atlas. It's Atlas. This is the one that can't be KO'd by battle. This card's really cool.
Yes. As long as you have less life than your opponent, it can't be KO'd by battle, and that's Vegapunk all the time. So that's going to be.
He started from the bottom. He started from the bottom at this one.
No, it's kind of wild because at this point you are kind of just checking the hand. Like this turn with what he set up, yes, he's got a little bit of a cushion, but one blocker in front of a green deck is by no means safety. So we have to kind of just see how this ends up working out. Now, granted, on board right now, he has got 2 swings and there's 2 life on Zoro's board. So, I mean, we're probably looking at more of a board cleanup turn than a push, but I think this is kind of a sweaty position for Brian.
Yeah, this is a really tough spot to be, especially with that 8,000 power blocker just staring at you that you cannot do anything about. Swinging 9.
Swing. But
I wonder. I think my guess is that Tashigi, because Tashigi's base is 7, and we're trying to get that magic number math. Yep, just 2 cards there. Being able to protect the Tashigi. I believe that was the 4-drop Zoro, and I think a 2K.
And this is going to be a very, very scary position because now that first attack got bounced, you have committed to board clearing and you just didn't clear any board. And so we are about to be in a very, very tight position the following turn, especially if he provides a card that can rest Vegapunk.
Well, the bright side is that, because Vegapunk is such a non-resourceful deck, that you can kind of expunge these attacks for no reason and still be able to play out the characters you want to every single turn. So now we're just going to go for, I guess, an 11K swing with Pythagoras. Where is that going? Is that going? It's got to be going at Tashigi, right?
It has to be Tashigi.
Okay, great.
Tashigi, yep.
And there we
Just
see
let one of those guys get off the board.
And there we see another Quasar. Oh my goodness. And I believe we have another copy of the EBO2 Vegapunk in our trash, which means we could play that, get a blocker after we get hit from the life, and then play potentially another blocker from the top of our deck if we have something like Shasta up there. Okay, Brian. Brian is showing the longevity of Vegapunk that a lot of players love so much. Myself
Call
included.
the ambulance, but not for me type.
Not for me.
So, like,
oh, yeah. Don't worry, I
he's-
am a doctor.
Oh, facts, very facts. So I mean, this is very, very cool. We're actually seeing like some of the sponginess of Vegapunk on full display, and it's the onus is now on Zoro to push through. But that being said, Tashigi and Mihawk on board. It's not like he's hurting her.
But look at Brian's board really carefully here. Like, what can Will attack and get value out of? You can't KO the Atlas by battle. And
Correct.
the Pythagoras, if you get rid of it, just plays another dude. You know what I mean? So he's kind of like in a rock and a hard place here of like, and if I attack the leader, you know your opponent gets 2 more free characters.
We're getting a Shimosuke coming out.
Ooh, gonna be able to rest.
Yup, cost of 2 or less, and this is going to be interesting. And then okay, this is
interesting.
Yeah, so this is kind of the Kozaburo play coming out, but the Tashigi is actually just the important part right now. Like, we're going in for a huge attack, and we're gonna have to see what gets played off of this. This is a okay, blocked off, and then swinging in with the Mihawk to get rid of the Quasar help, and then we're gonna get the recursion of yet another blocker.
Just like we drew it up.
I mean, it was the play. It was literally the play.
Oh, it's looking like something had a mistake here. Let's see what happened this turn. Can the Shimotsuki? Did Brian block with the egghead? Or sorry, the Vegapunk? Is it supposed to be in the trash?
Without us hearing the audio, it's a little hard to know because Shimosuke.
But he can't. But he can't. Shimosuke cannot rest egghead. Egghead's a 5-cost card.
2 or less. Oh, okay, this is the problem. Yeah, so that's what I was wondering because like it cannot rest the Vegapunk because its cost is too high.
Yeah, so it looks like this could be. I believe we saw the top 5 cards as Brian, which is probably not the biggest deal in the world because I don't think he changed the order of them. But yeah, that Vegapunk should be active unless it blocked. I guess they're just explaining that to each other. Maybe they confused it with like 2,000 power or something because he is a 0 power card, but he's a 5-cost card.
Okay, so they're just gonna. It looks like they're just gonna rewind the turn. It seems like, which is
kind
of a big thing.
Yeah, like luckily before we looked at the top 5 cards, everything was known. You know, so nothing irreversible happened here. But the Shimotsuke I think will still get played and stay on the board, even though it didn't do anything. And now we're just gonna reset before that Tashigi attack. Okay.
Yeah, the reset is huge here. It's just like I'm a little weird on the reset. But that to me seemed like potentially like we were a couple turns from that, so that kind of seemed like a little bit of an irreparable game state. But we now have like the that's not being rested. It looks like Brian is even confused on Shimosuke's effect. Like both of them are a little. Will
just had so much. It's the Zoro confidence, you know. He's like, yeah, no, that's rested. He's like, oh, dude, you're so right. I'm so sorry. Let me rest that for you. You know what I mean? That's what the power of the aura farming pirate assassin.
Yeah. So yeah, basically that's coming off, and now that we've rewinded, you have the Vegapunk up. Shimosuke Kozaburo was played, and for a net, nothing. And that's going to be an issue because that's what I was confused about. I was like, did he just play it to get out another body for next turn? But that would be really early in the turn to do so. So now he's trying to figure out what to do with the remainder of his Don. And
7 Don's kind of an awkward number because having only 7 Don active right now means you can't play another Mihawk if you have one.
Yep. And on top of that, they can't hear us, but one thing his hand looks really low. Because he countered out of an attack.
Yeah, so the judge put the 2 cards that he countered with back into his hand.
Okay.
I saw that.
Cool.
Yeah.
I just thought
because luckily we knew what they were. And luckily I think they were all cards that we searched for too, which is nice.
Correct. So he is putting some Dawn on Tashigi, and then getting ready to go. Now, this next attack though.
I mean, where's it going? Like if you're Will, does Zoro even get donned up and attack here? Like, I don't know if you get any value out of that actually, because all you're gonna do is give Brian a free +1, and then if you attack his life, you're gonna give him a free +1 on board with the 5-drop Vegapunk. But if you don't attack him, he's just gonna put more life in his life next turn. So it's kind of rough to be in the aggro position as Will, because it feels like Brian kind of puts you in a corner.
Very, very much so. This is very, very strange, because while he doesn't have necessarily the game-stopping power quite yet, you're right. He can't get rid of Atlas, and then on top of that, there's just everything he attacks right now gives Brian some sort of advantage. But we are getting the Dawn up on the leader, and we are getting the swing in.
It's got to be Pythagoras. Like there's no other attack.
No, it's a wasted swing if it's not on Pythagoras. But he gets to decide what he's going to bring back. He's looking through his drop right now.
It's probably just Lilith. Yeah, there Lilith, it is.
Just for the search. Like you said, the +1, the extra body on board.
And this is a card that Zoro cannot attack into because she little baby. She little 3-cost card. So we're kind of forced to attack the leader with our leader, but that means we get the 5-drop egghead that we saw earlier, which is just so much value for Brian.
Nami got back in hand. Well, like, Nami came off the top of the deck, so yeah. Okay.
Like if you're Will, do you attack with Mihawk here? Like no way, right? No way, right? Like that's your blocker. You know what I mean? Like you need that to not lose next turn.
I mean, it would be a lot easier if we could see his full hand size, but now
I think it's 4 or 5 cards. I think it's 4 or 5 cards, something like that. 4 or 5 cards. And so playing the 2K out of hand,
because playing the 2K out of hand was super rough. Oh, okay. So we got a blocker huge, out of our own.
The Shiro's huge. Yeah, the Shiro's huge.
Yup. So we got a blocker out of our own. And now we've kind of changed that tempo. We've got 2 blockers, 2 life, and only right now 3 attacks that don't need to be donned up to actually hit. So we're looking like we're in a fairly safe position. I mean, one of these blockers could get blown up by the Nami that was searched. So there is that too. But this is a back and forth game. Now that we don't have a Rayquaza help in life, and we don't have Pythagoras on the board, the attacks that go through currently are going to go through. So we definitely need to see how Brian sets up for the following turn.
Yep, but luckily Brian didn't really lose any cards out of his hand that turn, which is super huge for the program. So if he does have anything like more, like you have to remember, he used 3 Darashi this game and never once grabbed a Quasar help. That to me says we're loaded up on the helps. We've got our crew lined up. That's what that tells me.
100%. Just addressing something that I just happened to see. People are talking about the Tashigi play. If I'm not mistaken, he played Tashigi next to a Tashigi, and then immediately Tashigi got blown up. And I think people are thinking that he blew up the 5-drop.
No, I believe Brian blew up the 3-drop Tashigi and said, I want to kill that one. Yeah.
Yes, I don't think that he was dodging a protection effect that wasn't legal. I think very much so you played the 3-drop Tashigi next to the 5-drop because you want the 3-drop to survive. You want them to target the 5-drop as a threat and let that survive so it protects your board the following turns. I think that Brian just did not take the bait and he killed the 3-drop so that there was no protection. Because if that 3-drop survived,
I think he did a very heads up play.
A lot of stuff does not. Yeah, I think that's fine.
Yeah. But there we saw the 5-drop Luffy coming down here. I believe we paid the discount for it to get rid of the Shiro blocker. And now we're going to swing 9 again with this Atlas. This Atlas is actually kind of becoming MVP in this late game here because it's just invincible. And it can attack this Tashigi every single turn while threatening the Mihawk. And if this Mihawk ever gets tapped down, you're going to put all your Dawn on something to get rid of it. There we see another searcher here. I believe this is like he who possesses the mind or something like that. It's like 18 words. It's just for an egghead card.
Yada yada
but
yada
yada
nice. Yada egghead.
Yada 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 yada. And then I started blasting.
He who possesses the world's most brilliant mind. Yeah, that is a mouthful, bro.
It's something like that. It's something like that. Yeah. And there we see, I believe. Oh my gosh, that card's gorgeous. Is that Nami? No way.
No. That was
Nami looks that good.
That's the Altart Vegapunk.
Egghead. That's our Altard Vegapunk. Thank you. Just his big noggin. And then we saw the free 5k Lilith attack get in there and bring Zoro down to 1. And there we see the 5-drop Vegapunk, like you said, just giving us more and more bodies. No discount on this. We just full played it. But our board is full. But we're going to replace our Lilith with another blocker, Shasta. Okay, yeah. I know Zoro's really good at resting one blocker. But how about 3? But how about 3 of them things?
How about wait? So there's 2 shot. Like this is
4.
Right,
there's
2
4
Shakas
blockers.
and there's
my
2
goodness.
Vegapunks and an invincible body. There's a tapped body that cannot be destroyed by battle, and there's 4 blockers on the board. I think that Brian is stabilized for game.
Yeah, because obviously you throw away these Vegapunk blockers, they're not useful. And Shasta is still a 6k body and coming to your turn. And yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure Will has like a 4 or 5 card hand at the most. Yeah, and here we see him trying to rebuild here. Going to be using that Hiyori.
Oh my gosh, I think the writing's on the wall because both Shakas can go sideways. Like if he is not ended this turn, both Shakas can go sideways. We have Mihawk as 1 blocker, but there's only 2 life, and currently there are 3 attacks on the board. So we really have to see what's going on. Oh, okay.
Is that Electric Luna? No way, that's Electric Luna.
Hold up.
Yeah, that was Electric Luna. That was totally Electric Luna, I think.
Yeah. Which
on this board state is kind of weird because you're only freezing the Atlas, but that's the best attacker Brian has. So freezing it's pretty good. And if you have another Mihawk in your hand, that's so valuable. Luna.
Yeah, the other thing though is by playing electric. Well, if he plays electric, by playing electric Luna, right? You can pretty much just ensure that anything that blocks this turn is not a factor the following turn or the turn after that, and that would be a crazy thing to have in the sense that if he blocks with any Shakas, they are not becoming swingers next turn. So you have to.
Yeah, but surely.
Oh, sorry.
But surely, if you block with any Shakas this turn, like they're just gonna get put in the trash because you're gonna be swinging for at least 6k on every attack or more. And I don't think Brian is priced into protecting them because his hand is also very low. And so I do think the Luna's a cool play, but only if you have another Mihawk in your hand. Like that to me is I think the only reason he would ever play it. And there we just see him shoving all the Dawn on Zoro. It's a 10k Zoro. It has to attack leader because if you attack Atlas, you don't do anything. Like nothing actually happens. But this is interesting. We're gonna go for the block which does give Zoro the ability to restand because it did battle an opponent's unit or character.
Yeah, and this is just a really rough position. I'm not gonna lie, like Electric Luna is a cool tech, but searching it and revealing it to your opponent just changes all the knowledge. And like he was very likely to block with the Vegapunks regardless because you want to be able to recur it. You want to be able to get rid of the guys that literally can't go sideways next turn. But now that he saw Electric Luna come to hand, he 100% is not going to block with Shakas unless he absolutely has to.
And once again, Will is forced to not attack with this Mihawk. Like, he just loses so much if he does that it's just not worth it. And there we see the Luna coming down. It's only going to freeze the Atlas, which this is huge now because if Brian does want to go aggro this turn, he has to use his blockers to attack, and it might not be enough to go for game given the Mihawk. So Brian's probably forced to go for a more passive turn this time and just give Will another turn of using this Hiyori to get more card advantage. So I think overall, this turn went really in Will's favor. Even though it looked a little sketch, like it definitely is kind of like not what he preferred to do, but it's definitely putting him in the place he wants to be in, which is making this game go on long enough to where he can run Brian out of resources.
Yep, and this is a very, very interesting thing in which both players have presented game-ending boards turn after turn after turn, and we're really just watching them go tit for tat in terms of, just who's got the forward momentum. So I'm happy to see it. Despite the stumbles early on, I'm happy to see what's going on right now. So, coming off of
we're in time.
Point,
we are now officially in time, my friends, which means that if at the end of these 5 minutes, whoever has the most amount of life will be the winner, which is usually very favoring for Vegapunk because you can just start stacking your life cards every single turn, given the time that you have.
It's rough, but swinging in for 9 right now.
Well, I think what Brian is thinking is if this turn takes too long, he can just put one life card down and win the game because they also only have 5 minutes.
Very, very correct. And on top of that, you have the point that we're finally getting the Mihawk, and we're also getting the counter to save the Mihawk, so it can be a relevant swinger next turn. This is interesting. Like
that's a 2-card hand for Will, by the way. After this, so
2-card hand from Will.
Oh, and there's the Kuma. Are we gonna go to 2 life this turn? Oh
Yikes.
My goodness, it's all fun and games until Kuma comes out of nowhere to start take over this battlefield. Oh my gosh.
Going to time and then getting out. I mean, he has to put a card in life here, does he not? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the Nami. We love removal.
God.
We love removal in this household.
No, that's so strong. All right. Like, I mean,
so it's 2 turns for each player.
Yes. 2 turns for each player. This is going to be a really, really rough thing to get out of. Kuma does have a body on him. You can effectively get rid of him without putting your opponent further ahead. Nami's going to get rid of him.
Right, because if you KO him, you get another life card. Yeah, which on this board state is pretty tough.
Yeah, Mihawk going sideways is an attack, but also one less blocker. This is a tough position to be in.
Because then you might just lose because your hand is so low. Like, oh my gosh. Egghead is perfectly placed right now, given the time constraints. But I will point out, Atlas, now KOable. Guys, we've done it. Atlas, your time for this world is not long, my friend.
I mean, look, it may not be long, but I think Vegapunk clutched it. Like, this board setup is so gross, and I am trying to actively think because, like, the issue is Zoro could go in for game this turn, not get it via like trigger, via like combo power in hand. He could not get it and then just lose the following turn. But if he goes passive, he could just lose in time. Like, this is so woo.
Right. And I want to point out he has 2 minutes to deal 2 life points of damage to Brian. Otherwise, I do think he just loses. And he just doesn't have the attacks because we have at least 1 blocker that I don't think can be rested right now unless we add it to Shigi. Did we just add it to Shigi to our hand off of the Hiyori? I'm not sure. I think it was the 3 drop.
That was the 5. I believe he added the 5 off Hiyori.
That could be what we need here because we rest the blocker Shaka and then we deal at least 1 life card. But we need to deal at least 2 life cards because then at the end of time, Brian's turn won't start, which means he won't be able to automatically put a card in life and win the game that way. So, like, if you're Will, you've got to go balls to the wall, attack the leader. No thoughts.
No thoughts. I mean, I'm not trying to root for the Zoro player, but I'm kind of. Where is his extra?
What, patented Zoro friend, Zoro stan Chris? Not rooting for the Zoro player.
Where is the Luffy is the man who will become the king of the pirates? Where is this card? All right, so Tashigi.
That would be pretty crazy to see here.
Yep, donning up Zoro, resting the blocker. So I mean, look, we've got attacks.
Yeah,
we've actually currently got. I mean, depending on how he puts his Dawn, we have at the very minimum like 2 meaty attacks. With 2 cards in hand, it's kind of rough. I mean, we are going to see Nami come out. Okay. Getting a Shaka off the board. For getting able to swing again. This is, I mean, I don't know. If he's got Luffy as the man who will become king of the pirates, that actually may be a... That would be a card. That would be a card to have right now.
Right, because then you get essentially 3 attacks here, including Mihawk, which could be enough.
Is time
it depends. Our timer might not be accurate to how much time they have because they might have gotten an extension for their overtime, depending on how long the freezing took place. But there we see the 3 costs going into the Shaka there. The Shimotes. Oh, and I think they're being told now that time is over in overtime, and I believe if that's true, attack the leader yet.
He attacked the Shaka with Kozaburo. I just didn't know if he had gotten to his Zoro attack, his second Zoro attack. If he got to,
he has not. He has not activated Zoro a second time. He has not done that yet. But you would be right, and I believe it goes cards in deck first, and then goes characters in play. But I believe Will would still win that way because Brian's deck is so small that it's not more of the cards than his.
Yeah. So this is.
But here, yep.
Well, and this is rough because there was freezing. I'm not sure if they got time extensions for the freezes.
They probably did. It was
okay,
it's only 30-minute rounds, and yeah. So they definitely got extensions for that. I'm not sure if the overtime was told to them, but I guess they're being told right now.
Yeah, and this is crazy too, because quite literally, I can already hear the argument from the Zoro player. If the Zoro player gets to swing with his Zoro, this game is his game. But if this game ends due to overtime before he gets to turn that Zoro sideways, it's Brian's game. So I know both of them are probably tight right now.
And that's the strength of a card like Vegapunk. It's just like you're on a clock. Like the longer the game goes on, the stronger this deck will be. For many reasons, some of which aren't even within the actual mechanics of the game, but within the mechanics of a tournament, which is really important to see, and what it kind of draws players to a deck like this sometimes. But yeah, I think they're just. So I guess Will is like, but if I attack with this, what happens? But I guess they're like, you kind of can't make the action because it's either each player gets 2 turns or the 5-minute timer runs out. That's the constraints of overtime. If one of those things happen, overtime is just over. And then you look at life, look at cards in deck, look at characters in board.
Yeah, high key, I think that's 100% the argument right now. Did I get to attack with my leader?
Yeah, like and the answer would be no.
Because we literally at this point, we don't know exactly when the stop is. We don't know, because like there could be a lot of things. There could have been the time over, but then the judges on Will's side are like, oh yeah, we just found out the time was over, or anything like that. And that could be like, well, I swung, and then Brian could be like, oh no, you didn't swing before the time. There's a lot of things that we won't know without the audio. But yes.
Yeah, so we're just gonna let the judges have a bit of time here to decide, because that match is over no matter what the result is will be happening as a result of time. My read of it would be that Brian wins because he's not allowed to attack, because he didn't attack with Zoro, he attacked with the 3-drop at a Shaka. So but we'll see what happens once we actually get there. But round 1, very interesting, setting the tone, I think, for the intensity that we're going to be seeing for the rest of today, because no matter who wins, you know that their team is going to be coming back with a vengeance, to being like, no, we got this. 1-2 coming back. We'll get that run back right now.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be very, very interesting. I think that right now the hard part is, and this is just a product of how this event is going, is that when you have a remote game, there's no telling if both of them were notified if time happened at the exact same time. So there very well could be a discrepancy of Brian thought the game was over, but Will thought he had time for 1 or 2 more attacks. And we have to figure out how the judges are like deliberating it right now. But yeah, it's crazy that we ended on a cliffhanger. Like we literally had a back and forth.
We literally got hit with the to be continued at the end of the episode for One Piece. We literally got hit with the to be continued, which is I think thematic, but very stressful.
Yeah, so this is interesting because we don't even know. We don't even know what the outcome of this game is, and we're waiting.
But no matter what, both players played out of their shoes. Like I don't think that was a matchup. Well,
Vegapunk.
Yeah, so we just got the confirmation. Vegapunk.
Right. Yup.
Yeah. The eggheads got there. Get to the moon, baby.
The man with the world's most brilliant mind, man.
I mean, if you told me, hey, a matchup with Vegapunk went to time, my instinct would be they won, right? Yeah, because that deck is just so powerful if the game goes on that long, because you just have a built-in win condition with your leader ability. And very unfortunate for Will that maybe he could have played it out differently on that turn, but we know for a fact that he couldn't go for game. That was the one unfortunate thing, is like, if we had 10 more minutes, would it have been enough for Will to win? I'm not sure. Probably not, actually, because, we got the Nami trigger added back to our hand. We got whatever that face down card is that we got off of the Kuma. And the next turn, we have an army of 6K plus bodies attacking with a 1-card hand from Will. So I think that matchup was going the way it was going, no matter what, but it was super awesome to see regardless.
So hear me out, though. Zoro attacks into Shaka. After that
before
clears,
Copium. Go ahead.
And before that clears, you now have a rested Shaka, you have a rested Atlas, and you have a Kuma. Those are the only cards on the board. There is a high key possibility that Will just could have activated his leader and swung to tie life, and then just let the clock run out. And he has more bodies, more cards in deck. So Will might actually be super heated right now because he chose to clear the Shaka when he could have chose to tie the game for time, which could be a clock discrepancy. He may not have paid enough attention to the clock to know. And
that's why you got to pay attention to those kind of things, for sure, because it obviously informs the decisions you make. which was pretty awesome to see. But regardless, Brian got it. That's one win for New Jersey right now. If they get one more, they're moving on to the semifinals of the Pirates League. Exciting.
Yep. And as a competitor, I know that those final turns are always the ones
Stressful.
that weigh heaviest on you. You think about it for countless amounts of time afterwards, and not swinging with the leader and deciding to swing with the Kozaburo may just be that haunting play. But we did get to see Vegapunk pop off. We got to see Vegapunk in a matchup where most people actually thought that Vegapunk was about to get rolled because of Zoro's ability to attack multiple times on just a 2-life leader. And Vegapunk showed just how sticky it can get once it has enough Dawn and enough setup in trash in hand to just rotate out those Vegapunk cards, rotate out the Rayquazars, and then that Kuma in that last
out of nowhere, bro.
So
Yo, it's all fun and games until Kuma hits the battlefield. Also, I do want to shout out that EBO2 Vegapunk got played 4 times in that game, which is insane to think about. That card is crazy strong. So congratulations to both players there. Don't go anywhere, guys. We go for a short little break before we bring you round 2 of New York versus New Jersey. Welcome back, Pirates of all ages, to the One Piece card game Pirates League Official Shop Edition. My name is Steven, and I'm joined by the lovely Chris, aka Universe X Gaming. And I'm excited for round 2. How about you, my friend?
I am too. We had a nail biter of a game last round. I was talking about it in chat, but I think that at the end of the day, one thing it really just decided the match was that I was saying that you never should play to go to time, but you should always be prepared to play in time. And we saw an immediate gear switch from Brian, and it just really paid off. So I think that was really, really cool. And if that sets the tone for the rest of the event, I'm happy for it, because that was down to the wire. There were multiple turns where we thought the reverse could happen, but now we're on the game 2 about to happen. And
like I'm saying,
Yeah,
I was going to say, so we got Connor up here from Brooklyn, New York, and we got Roger down here representing Edgewater, New Jersey. We got Blue Purple Luffy versus Calgara. More yellow being shown off today. I love to see that. And kind of like you were saying, Chris, I know Will is probably feeling himself after that loss because of maybe how he misplayed in time there. But luckily, he's got 2 teammates that got his back. He can be, I don't want to say carried, but supported by his teammates, and they together can still represent Brooklyn properly and win this event. Don't count them out just yet as match 2 gets started, but Roger, he's looking to end it here. Once he wins, he knows New Jersey's going to the semifinals. Very exciting.
And so this is going to be very, very strong. Blue Purple Luffy is one of the strongest decks in the format, sees more cards than almost any other deck in the game, and we're going to be able to see all of that on full display. However, Calgara is very, very aggressive and has the power of Best Girl Holly on their side. So I can never bet against Holly.
And one thing in Calgara's favor is this deck is so good at bullying low life 6 power leaders, because everything in your deck hits those magic numbers once you get to a certain life count, which is just going to be so powerful. So we'll definitely see some magic happening here, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like around that 4 or 5 to 6 dawn turn, I think you're going to see a lot of aggression coming from Connor up top, and that's just going to be really tough for Luffy to deal with if the game doesn't go on long enough to where you can see those extra cards being drawn once they have 8 or more dawn.
Yeah, and we did see a mulligan coming from Blue Purple Luffy, while Calgara on Connor's side just immediately snap kept. So I am interested to see the speed. We get a dawn and a pass.
We might see some fireworks. Yep, the beginning of the game, pretty standard, I think, for both players here. We do see the Shirahoshi coming down. That's a little bit of extra protection, turning our life cards face up to protect our cards. Makes a lot of sense to me.
Mm-hmm. And also on top of that, taking life from the leader swing into the Zoro Juro, we're at least getting a good curve.
I think that time call scared our players. They're playing lightning quick right now. But the Zoro Juro coming down is going to represent a lot of potential ramp for Roger to just keep going up and up and up. But there we see the Ohm coming down. Are we going to see the Holly play? Are we just going to get 4 bodies in play by the time we get to turn 5? No snow ad.
Wait,
but
no on the top of the hand. No on the best girl. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a Holly fan.
We opened Ohm plus Holly and was like, this is good enough. Keep. And you know what? It might be. It might just be.
Yeah, this is actually going to be intense because Calgara is going to really press the life that Blue Purple Luffy has, and we need to see Roger just has to hope to stabilize. Like that's really what's going on. This is a classic aggro versus late game deck type situation. So yeah, we're really about to see if Roger has the hand necessary to curve out and get to his top end, or if Connor is just going to bulldoze this through with just bodies.
Yeah, I believe we're going to be going to 6 Dawn as Connor on the next turn. That means we can play things like Seto, Wiper, all kinds of just crazily statted cards. I think even the 6-drop Calgara has like a base 8,000 power or something, which is going to be bullying Roger. But here we see the Zoro attacking for 8, going to be activating that Dawn using its when attacking ability.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we're attacking Calgara here. But we'll gladly take this life. That just gets us closer to activating Ohm to be a 6K attacker.
All right, swinging for 8 right now.
There we see 2 Wipers being discarded. I believe the vanilla one, and I think the one that searches for the upper yard. I could be wrong, but no, yeah, that's definitely the upper yard searcher. I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And now we're getting a swing in for 6 neutral.
And there we see the 6-drop Calgara that I was talking about. That is an 8K body. Adding another card to our hand. We now have 2 life cards. That makes Ohm now a 6K base. Oh my goodness, there's just so much violence in play right now.
Yup. I mean, right now we are seeing vanilla monkey paws being rained upon Luffy. Oh my gosh, Ohm coming in. These are lining up really well because each one of these cards is just straight up a card taken out of the hand. And as most of you guys know, Blue Purple Luffy sometimes can just get stuck with 0 combo power, like or 0 counter power. You could just have like 6 cards in hand and only have like 2K counter, and that becomes a very big problem as the game goes by. And just taking that first hit was not a great sign.
Let me just do a quick stat check right here. We've got the Calgara leader, which is probably going to swing for 6 again next turn. We have the Ohm, which can swing for 6. We have the Holly. We have the Calgara vanilla that's 8K base. And we have the 5-drop Wiper that has a 7K base. We're going to swing so much damage next turn. It's going to be crazy. And I believe we just got to 7 Dawn, if my math is right. Maybe 8 Dawn for Roger. I could be wrong. Because I know we ramped and we went first. So we should be at 8 this turn.
All right, he's playing Blue Purple Luffy, but we need Roger to exhibit some Pirate King hockey right here. Like this is what we need. You see what I did there?
I like the way you think. Yeah, I got you. I'm right there with you. But the Shandian Warriors, they don't care, bro. They're like, who's Roger? He's a bum. Attack. Hit him with the yard.
Anybody that's paid attention to the series knows that NL was brought into the whole game too soon. Like the entire mythos of like that area was just a little too early. Like they are some fierce people. And like
we have other things to worry about. We have other things to worry about than all this pirate nonsense. Sky Island is being beaten up.
Yeah. So I mean, this is going to be a very, very hard position because I'm sure Roger understands that technically game is on the table right now. He needs to figure out how to break past this board because as of this moment, at very most, he is on a 2-turn clock. Okay,
yeah, normally Blue Purple Luffy kind of like coasts on it being a 6K base leader, but that don't matter to the Shandian Warriors. Just don't. Is that a pass? We must have like an event heavy hand that we need to use to protect ourselves.
And he has 4 Dawn up, so I mean we could be seeing some giants. We could be seeing quite a lot of stuff. But
Gear 2s, all that stuff.
Yeah, just swinging a pass. It's actually very interesting because basically I feel like Roger just committed to the only way out is through. He's like, your hand is large. I can't swing on some of these bodies and actually expect it to go the way I want it to. So we're just going to push through from damage and hope that I can close it out next turn.
We do have rush attackers in Blue Purple that can easily deal some damage. And if you're on low enough life, if you use Calgara's effect again, you go to 0 life, which could be too costly for Connor at this point. But when your board's already full, do you really care about playing more cards? Probably not.
Yeah, this is rough, but we're starting off with an 8K swing, right?
Yeah, just like trying to get the most information, I think, out of the hand. Commit the least amount of resources, then gauge what kind of events and or counter power is potentially in your opponent's hand. Is that 2Ks coming down?
Yeah.
Is that 2Ks?
No, there's a Frankie and
but no, that was Frenosuke, which I believe is a 2K, which means Roger's hand is literally just full of defense, which, given the board state, is a good thing, I guess.
Yikes. And then we're getting in another swing here. Oh my gosh. Immediately dropping the Usohachi.
Oh, do you know what would be so killer right here? Kuma, if we had a Kuma come down, that'd be crazy. But there we see AK with the wiper. We're taking it.
And
then we see the Holly.
Holly coming in for 9? No, Holly coming in for 8. Okay, we're dropping another Usohachi into 1. Your hand is getting
we have all 4 Usohachis in hand?
Shreds, man. Swinging again for 8. Swinging at some crazy numbers.
That was 4 Usohachi, I think, from Roger. That was crazy. Or at least 3 to 4. That's insane.
And then, yeah, we got rid of that last life, and then we just passed. And so now we're looking at the top of our deck to search for some cards. This is, like I said, y'all, there is a 2-turn clock maximum with how the board was. And the board was not touched in the slightest. So now we are just sitting here with, oh my gosh. And the hand is fairly stacked. This is at 6 to 7 cards in hand. I think it's 6, but those yellow sleeves are they're beaming right now. So it's a little hard to tell, but he definitely has enough to block 1 attack. Like right now, he has a 1 life buffer. That did not help me at all. See how many cards it is.
I think it's 6. I think it's 6.
Yeah, I think it's 6 too. It's just those yellow cards, man.
So there we see the blocker Nami coming down, gonna try to get some cycle and just kind of sculpt the hand, because Roger, after being punched this much, does have a lot of cards still to spare, even though he went on a huge counter spree last turn. That's what playing more conservative can kind of do for you. Do we have another blocker to play maybe that could be kind of useful to just kind of like pad our life total? We just see the base 6K leader probably.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, this is the point where you just want to give yourself a buffer. Okay.
Yep. Rosie Onante, that'll activate 2 of our done at the end of the turn. We have 2 blockers. Purple is known for in the late game having a ton of defensive tools like Gum Gum Giant and whatnot. I don't think this game's over yet, even though there's a ton of pressure being represented by Calgara here, because Calgara just doesn't need to play cards in their hand anymore. They can just attack with what's on board and stack up +1s every turn just by drawing, which is pretty crazy to think about.
I think this is crazy because with only 2 Dawn up, we are already limited. And like I said, he just gets to lead off with a massive card. So was that a gear 2 right there? Yep.
Yeah, that was gear 2 for the +3 going to 9.
Yep. And now we're getting another huge swing. Another gear? Oh, wait, no.
That's giant. That's giant. That's the good one.
I did not see that at first. Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, so he's trying to sit in for the long haul, but he's got a blocker. We are now officially in the territory where this next swing is going to decide a lot, because he needs to get past the blocker and then still swing again. This swing is going to show a lot. And the blocker needing to come down right now does not bode well for Roger.
Man, this Ohm being in play ever since turn 2 has just been so valuable for Connor. Oh my goodness. There we see the Calgara. We just scoop it up. We have no more counter in hand.
That was insane.
My gosh.
And I mean, that's exactly what I was talking about. Like literally, I said you could have 6 cards in hand with like 1K counter, and that is exactly what's happening. Now, if it were me, I would have swung for game with Holly. But that's just me. Now, that
technically,
being said, though,
technically he did, because Roger had the blocker for that attack, and that means Holly would have been the attack for game, because we had enough Dawn to make it AK. That's all I'm saying. Is technically Holly would have been the swing for game there. So
all right,
I'll give you that one.
That's fair enough.
That one's for you.
Yeah, we just saw an amazing display of aggression from Calgara, and it is a little unfortunate for Roger, because sometimes matchup roulette is going to just weigh a little heavier than others.
Yeah,
and there was probably not a worse deck in this particular round that he could have faced than a deck that just starts slamming bodies. They can go neutral with your 6K leader.
Yeah, literally, like they like their math lines up really perfectly. The timing of when they play themselves and when they attack you is perfect for when you just missed out on your free search. So you were like we only had 1 search off of the blue-purple leader effect, which normally averages 4 to 5 searches in most games that I've seen that deck played. So yeah, definitely Calgara was able just to get in right underneath all that advantage and cause the pressure and just steamroll. But what I said kind of did happen. Will's teammates saw Will unfortunately lose that round 1. They said, don't you worry, we got you. Send me in there, coach. And he did. He's like, "Don't worry, guys, I got it. We're going to game 3."
Yeah, that was the inherited will. We saw Calgara DB down, like storm through and just start bulldozing. I think something that's actually really crazy is that's what I was talking about when we first started this tournament. You can have a deck that's very, very, very good for the meta because you like blue purple Luffy. I'm not gonna say straight up it's best deck in format, but it has a lot of reasons why many people would consider it the best deck in format. It is in no way, shape, or form a slouch. However, like I said, when you have the upper crust, but you have a bunch of decks that are also viable, sometimes making sure your deck is ready for the upper crust opens you up to Rogue. And that is exactly what just happened with Calgara here. Like that came through and slapped it up.
And that's even more likely in events like team events, where not only do you have these sort of more roguish decks being piloted because they kind of have to be, you're not allowed to play the same leader as your teammates, but basically you have 3 people piloting this deck, because I don't know if you guys can tell, but their teammates are watching them play and sitting next to them, and they can actually give each other advice on what to do. And so like there's like literally a team of people trying to craft this perfect deck to beat the meta or whatever, or whatever the matchup might be that they're worried about. And Calgara feels like one of those decks of, oh, for the right place and the right time, this is the best deck you could possibly play. And I think that was for sure. Like when you win the game with 7 cards in hand and your opponent barely got to attack once, that's a pretty sizable victory, I think.
I mean, it's funny to me because you're like 3 people playing. All right, so yeah, we are setting up the next game, but we're just gonna keep talking about the previous one until we can slide into the third one. But I just like it. You're talking about how all 3 players get to play, and I'm like, but for Calgara, is it not just punch him? Punch him. like is that not just like
it is still a yellow deck, and there's still some tricky things you can do with your recovery and all that stuff. Like, when do you take your Calgara life, when don't you? I think it's more complicated than we're giving it credit for, because Connor was playing that like an absolute master though. So I'm sure he's got some fun tricks.
He was playing it well, he piloted it well, and he clearly got a cracked curve. Like the Ohm into Holly, it always feels good when you play Ohm, look at the top 5, and then just be like, yeah, that was never going to be a factor because I've had it this entire time. Like, just understand this, the dog inside me was coming out today regardless. I just love it. Like it was really, really cool. But yeah, like we were saying, the matchup of Calgara with all of its aggression, its vanilla-based aggression for a lot of stuff, versus a 3-life leader that is notoriously janky on counter value, that was rough. That was rough. Like, it's got some of the best stuff. Yeah, and I was like, it's got some of the best defenses in the game, but those defenses generally cost Dawn, and so you have to get to a certain speed to be able to use your defenses, and it was just taken advantage of. So that was a crazy game, and I would have never thought I would just see that matchup and it go the way it did. Like, that was awesome.
Yep. So huge shout out to both Connor and Roger. They represented their shops very proudly. It did go to Connor this time, which means it does go to New York, which means it's officially 1-1 for the Battle of the East Coast. I'm excited to see how these things kind of roll out. I wonder who's going to get. I wonder what the last matchup's going to be. We don't actually know yet. I mean, we know who the representatives are, but we don't know what they're playing yet.
Yeah, and we talked about this when you asked, what's the spot with the most pressure in these events? And I'm like, well, it's this one. Like,
it's the anchor, baby.
You've got a slight misplay that caused game 1 to be lost. You had a walk down of game 2. And now what are we going to see in game 3? Is it going to be another down and out slugfest like game 1? Is it going to be another one-sided roll like game 2? Or is it going to be something more even? It's interesting to see what this is about to be.
Oh yeah, I think no matter what, we are about to witness something very dramatic and very exciting to see.
True. So what decks would you most likely like to see? I know my choice is going to
Zoro, we've seen blue purple, we've seen a stark absence of red in today's event. And I feel like red deserves some representation. I mean, Rayleigh is that good of a leader right now, and if we're talking aggro, you don't get more aggro than the deck that can't play anything 5 cost or higher.
Hear me out. I would love, because like look, guys, I'm a simp for lore. I'm a simp for thematics. If we can go out on round 3 with a Luffy deck versus a Rayleigh deck, just take them to school for the final round, and let's see who wins, the master or the student. That would be what I would love to see right now. Like, and with Luffy, what? I think there can only be purple or purple green that could still be played right now that is relevant in the meta right now.
Besides blue purple, yeah. Besides blue purple.
But yeah, a Luffy versus a Rayleigh would make my dreams come true for next round.
Yeah, I like the thematicness. I think you and I were talking about this earlier about like, Rayleigh's hockey cards are him showing Luffy how these work.
Correct.
Imagine if you're playing against the other side of a Luffy player and like, let me show you how these cards are gonna beat you. Really quick.
Correct. Because like I was looking at the deck and I was like, Rayleigh can't play Rayleigh SCR. But then I thought about it and I was like, it's thematic because Rayleigh is instructing Luffy. So he's showing him these things of hockey. He's playing at like less capacity, so he has the lower cards. Oh, wait. And we got okay, so we got half of it.
We have your Luffy, but
Luffy versus Reiju.
That's a Reiju on the other side. So up top we have Rob representing Brooklyn, New York, playing blue purple Reiju, and on the bottom we have Ji-Hyun from Edgewater, New Jersey, playing green purple Luffy. Oh my goodness.
All right.
Look at us talking about Rayleigh as the aggro deck of the format, and Rob's like, no. Reiju is also an aggro deck, and I plan on punching as well.
You mispronounced Reiju. And this is actually kind of crazy because that means that New York came with like the Black Air Force energy. It was just 3 aggressive decks, like 3 very aggressive decks.
Yeah, and they are just here to do damage and go home.
Let's see. And this is very interesting. So now on this side, we are going to see very much so like a combo aggro deck versus another purple green. I mean, blue. I feel like green purple Luffy has a little more utility than blue purple Luffy, but like it's just I'm excited for this matchup. I think this is gonna be nice.
Yeah, the way I usually think about it is like green purple is like the king of the middle of the game, whereas blue purple is the king of the late game. Like if you let that deck have 2 life by turn 10, you've lost.
Yeah.
Whereas this deck, it feels invincible on like Dawn's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then once you get to 10, it's just gonna be more of the same, and just kind of using that flow of snowball is like the way I think about it. It's like the longer that green purple gets to keep doing this stuff, the worse it'll get for you, but it starts pretty early.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, I've always been a fan of the Reiju decks, just mainly because like I love the level up. I also love the Germa 66 theme. I think I think it's always been, or is it 6-9? Yeah, like it's always been a really 6-6. It's always been a really cool theme for me. I grew up off of like the Sentai kind of vibes, so I definitely like that. But at the same time, the way the deck works is super cool with the level up ability. And while it's not like a card that people max out on, just the king is coming down and bringing out all of his kids is awesome. So we're starting off with a search.
Yeah, Judge is crazy.
Judge is amazing.
Anytime Judge has ever been resolved against me, I'm like, oh, I lost that game. Cool. But yeah, so we saw the Zoro Juro being searched off the Nami there. I believe that's the 4-cost Zoro Juro that can search the top 5.
A searcher into a searcher. We love consistency.
Classic One Piece.
And that's weird. When your searcher searches a searcher, that means either everything in your hand is absolute gas or your options were very not gas. So we have to see. But now we're getting a Sanji searcher played on turn 1 from Reiju.
Just like I said, our decks are going for their consistency. For lack of a better term, both these decks are kind of combo decks. They need specific pieces in their hand at specific times. One just needs them a bit earlier than the other one.
Yup.
I believe that's the baby Reiju, the 2-cost Reiju that can level up.
Altart.
Oh, do we have the kingdom? The kingdom of Germa.
Alrighty, guys. We are off to a wonderful start. I'm actually, like, yes, we don't know the hand, but I don't think that the Reiju player, I don't think Rob could have gotten a better opening. Turn 1, Sanji Searcher into Germa Kingdom.
Wait, what is Rob doing? He just discarded the 4-drop Reiju. That card's crazy, he said, setting up foreshadowing for later.
I mean, look. So we're passing it back over to Green Purple Luffy. He's going to dawn up twice and start swinging.
Right, because both these leaders are 4 health. You want to just kind of get them to 2 as quick as possible because basically this game has the potential to go on long if Green Purple wants to try to grind out advantage, or it can go pretty aggro because until the Vinsmoke start flying, the Reiju deck will be low on resources in the beginning of the game, especially if they prioritize playing Ichiji rather than playing Reiju.
So, yep, Sculpt in the hand, trying to get in some early damage, and yeah, exactly what you said. But I think that we everybody in the room is aware if Reiju gets up to her break point, it's going to be very rough
And her
for
break point's a lot sooner than you might think.
Oh
It's
yeah.
usually around turn 6 or
So
6 dawn, I should say.
just swinging in just to get a quick card out of Jihoon's hand.
Ooh,
Okay.
and there we see
playing
the
wow, I forgot her
Petrol.
name.
No,
She's
it's the Foxy
Porsche.
young
It's
lady.
Porsche.
Porsche.
I knew she was on
Porsche,
Foxy's
that's right,
crew.
that's right.
My brain just completely
Yeah,
dropped
yeah.
it. But Porsche coming out.
I knew she was broken. I just forgot her name. I was like, what?
Don't think the search happened, but we were able to cheat out Ichiji.
Yep, and then we get the draw off the Ishiji. We're going to be discarding the 7-drop Ishiji from our hand using Germa Kingdom. We're going to get the 1 cost. I believe that's the like you can trash your card from your hand. Yeah, Sora. Thank you very much. And then we're going to use Ichiji. Dawn minus. Go down to 2. Doesn't matter. Bring out that Ichiji. And we have a free 7K rush attacker on turn 2 of the game. No big deal. No big deal. Right. We also have a 5K swing for the next turn. No big deal. Pay no attention to the young lady and her color-coded cast of characters.
I'm just going to put this out here right now. Rob definitely wins the Drip Award for this game because I haven't seen a singular card that could be alt-arted that wasn't alt-arted. Like that he's played this game. Like, look at his board. Look at his trash, dude.
And the Vin Smokes wouldn't have it any other way. They are bougie. But there we see the Sanji and Pudding. Hold on. Reiju sees a Sanji. No more violence. Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
we have to shake hands.
This is also the exact card that this deck needs on the field to thrive. Almost the master cog to its engine. So we're
like
gonna
I said,
have to
that like this is the snowball card. Like the longer that this card stays in play and we get value out of our leader ability rather than a cost out of our leader ability is gonna be pretty crazy for green purple.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So there we see Rob talking with his teammates, I guess, about what the game plan is going to be. Makes a lot of sense to me.
He played the
there we see.
I need help.
Yep. There's the I believe that's the Going Merry. Just get the free cycle there and the extra cost to our cards. I don't think it'll matter that much in this matchup. I'm not sure how much removal Rob is packing in his deck. But here we see the 7K swing. It's going after the leader, and I do like Rob going for this counter here to make sure he doesn't go to 2 too quickly, because being at 2 life is kind of the danger zone for something like Reiju, where like every attack starts to really matter that you start taking.
Yep, and being purple, both these decks do have access to some rushers, so you cannot be caught lacking too low.
Yeah, and as we saw last turn, Reiju has access to quite a few of those. If we get another Porsche this turn, that'd be so crazy. And we know we have the 2-drop Reiju too to just refill our hand, and so we're not even like losing out by countering early and keeping our hand size low because we can always fill it up later.
I'm mesmerized. This deck is beautiful. What is Rob? He's cooking.
But choosing not to use the full art leader though, that is an interesting choice, and I think it's because that artwork is really nice. I love the classic Reiju artwork.
Mm-hmm. So we're getting a donned up swing off of Porsche.
Right, because our green purple is a base 6K, yeah.
Another neutral swing.
Yeah, this is a Reiju turn right here. We're going to play the 2-cost Reiju, cycle back the 4-drop from the trash, draw an extra cards while attacking 6/6/7. Ooh! So much value coming out of Rob.
Very much so. And these neutral attacks are just gleaming information. The first one came down and immediately was a snap take. Now there's a lot of deliberation from Jihoon about whether or not he takes this, but it's a neutral. To have to think this hard about whether or not to take this 6K neutral, I think just really like displays that his counter is tight.
Yeah, because you know the 7K swing's coming next. You know what I mean? Like, it's really like One Piece has always been a game of like I don't want to say tempo, but like this idea that every turn after the turn you're currently playing is going to get harder to play, if that makes sense. Like next turn, all these things that are 6K can be 7K. All these things that are 7K can now be 8K 2 turns later. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Also, not even bearing any more cards coming out of my hand that could have rush or what have you. So always keeping that in mind. But here we see the 4-drop Reiju being recycled out of the trash thanks to the 2-cost Reiju's ability. We're going to draw some extra cards here because our hand is 5 or less.
Sheesh. And
then thanks to the Reiju ability, we're going to do it again as well. So yeah, we just drew 3 cards. No big deal. Everyone relax.
It's just three cards. And that's actively, this is about to get kind of backbreaking. Swinging in with the Gigi and then passing turn. Immediate snap take of the life. So you saw that he blocked the neutral 6K, but did not block the 7. Or sorry, did not block the Let me just make sure I am right on that total when it comes to the power.
Yeah, EGG 7. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's rough. That is
It's
rough.
very telling. It's very telling, like you said. Like our hand is probably very event focused, like these purple decks in the OP12 meta tend to be. And because we were tapped out, it just left us open to being hit by a bunch of little weenies.
And now this is always like one of the worst places to be because your thoughts are going to surviving, not exactly winning right now. Your board isn't necessarily set up to go completely clean in, but we did get a free life off of a Sanji pudding swing. But the fact that he opened up Sanji pudding to be attacked, I think just kind of shows the state of game he's in right now.
Oh, and I don't even think Rob's looking at that. He faces the place. You know what I mean? That's all Rob's worried about. But there we see a second Sanji pudding coming down. This means all of our leader abilities are essentially free. We get 2 Dawn activated, actually, rather than losing any to get our power up. We could play a third one if we had it, but probably not great because we've already used our leader ability this turn. We could see blockers coming down. That'd probably be what would be most needed from Ji-yoon. But at this point, like we have it, like you said, the same 6K attacks plus the Reiju character being able to swing next turn. And if we have another Ichiji, that's just another rush attacker coming down.
Yep.
And then we see the blue Reiju being used to counter from OP11. Really cool 100%. Inclusion for the deck.
Well, it's the thing here is that like with so many cards in hand, the fact that he even took that Sanji pudding just showed that he just wanted to get another card. Bro is just fishing. And now that like he's maybe either found a card or is no longer accepting taking more damage, he was like, yeah, no, that's not going through. So we are getting the 4-drop Zoro, searches out the Usohachi. And then, I mean, he's got 1 Dawn left, probably a pass to make sure that he can keep up defensive events. But once again, we are kind of at a space where... a little rough. So we're going up to 5 Dawn. Yeah, we're going up to 5 Dawn. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, yeah, we're going up to 5 Dawn right now. But if you're Rob, are you priced in to attacking this Sanji pudding? Because you got so many attacks that all represent enough damage to win the game that I'm just like, it's very tantalizing. But if you fail to go for game and you leave your opponent with double Sanji pudding and Zoro, that could be crazy. But there we see, oh my gosh, what's that law card?
Gamma Knife. You just played Gamma Knife.
Gamma Knife. Thank you very much. That's pretty good to help make that Sanji pudding easier to attack. We have the Sanji attacking it. Oh my gosh, Sanji on Sanji violence. No. In front of pudding. How could you two?
I mean, very facts. And so here's my thing here. This is a very, very nice like play by Ji-yoon. That the Sanji pudding swing just opens up a free damage. You either get rid of a card in their already huge hand or you get a free damage. But most importantly, putting a high profile target like that in rest mode allows it to essentially become a blocker. And so he was hoping to soak up 1 attack the following turn with that Sanji pudding that he tactically gave up. Instead, Rob said, no, sir. And he hit it with the Gamma Knife and then swung a 1-drop that wasn't going to hit face anyway, which is an insane trade. And now the momentum keeps going, punching in, making sure the hand is decimated, and hopefully turning this game into a checkmate the following turn, if not this turn.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh no, Rob has to choose between attacking the Sanji or attacking life. And he's like, don't worry about it, Steven. I'm gonna do both.
That was a very good play by Ji-yoon. I love that. That is along the lines to me of like the Tashigi play from round 1. You give them a bait card and you hope they take it. But sometimes a skill check is just a skill check. You IQ check your opponent and your opponent passes the IQ check and does not get baited. So like that's exactly what happened. But you did see the successful deflection, huh?
But like, yeah, the deflection with Giant. He blocked a 6K swing with Gum Giant. Remember that. That is so much value if you're Rob, because that card is only really amazing if it's good if against specifically a 9K attack.
Yep,
and Rob knows that, so he knows he's not going to make one anytime soon.
Yep, and that's also just very, very like we were saying. Ji-yoon was showing signs of a counter light hand, and it is not necessarily being helped right now. Like we are seeing, we are seeing. I think Rob smells the blood in the water, and like a shark, he is going in for the kill on that one. So now you have no life on Ji-yoon's side, literally game on board on Rob's side. And what possibly could Ji-yoon do in this situation?
I mean, the only thing I could think of is like a 6-drop Luffy to get the rush attack and get the 4 attacks all swinging at life to try to be enough to go for game here. But I don't think it'll be enough because you might not have the power. But here we see the 7K swing just to gauge how likely countering is going to be. I don't think attacking board is going to be super useful because Rob has just been stacking cards in his hand and probably has the perfect EGG plus whatever else response. But there we see the counter out of whatever that attack was. My guess is it was on life, but we don't know.
7 or 8 cards in hand, and you start having to swing at either 2 life or bodies.
You know what
that's
I mean?
a rough space to be in.
When you're feeling the clock, like you said, of having 0 life, staring down 4 attacks, that's pretty rough. But there we see,
okay.
and the Pirates card. What is it? It's literally the prize card for this event, and I can't remember it. It searches
when
for
you fight
everything.
on the seas, yeah, it's I need to.
You
see
fight
the
against
exact
pirates.
Name. Yeah, there we go.
Exactly. Yeah, and there we see the 4-drop Zoro being searched off, the green one. That card's very useful.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not in this situation. It's not. I don't think it has counter. I could forget. I could be wrong.
This is.
Yeah, it has counter.
Rough.
Okay, good.
He definitely needs to clear the board. But I mean, if Rob is clearly, these are both smart players piloting their decks like maximum efficiency. Like Rob has no reason to let a body go right now.
Yeah, but there we see the Black Maria being used to block that Zoro Juro again. And there we see another Zoro Juro coming down. That'll be a useful searcher here or for Ji-yoon, but searching might not be enough to survive the coming turn because I will say this, the one unfortunate thing about the Reiju game plan is that in your late game, your attacks are never big because you don't have enough Dawn left over after using all your Dawn minus effects to actually put onto your characters to make them like really powerful attackers. So like any amount of counter is good, but when you're fighting against a deck that mostly uses events as its counter, all of a sudden that weakness becomes a strength.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want to swing big numbers into event heavy decks anyway.
Yep, you're just going to run them out. Let them go 1-for-1 with you.
But here we see another 6K attack here. It looks like with the leader. We have not used the leader ability this turn, I want to point out. We got the Dawn minus off of the Zoro Juro, which let us reset using Sanji and Pudding, which is pretty cool.
All right,
and there we see the blue Reiju again, as well as a Sanji again. This deck fully blinged out. You'll love to see it.
Mm-hmm. So beautiful.
Yep, so there we see Ji-yoon increasing the cost of Sanji Pudding, thanks to the Going Merry. And we're just going to pass 3 Dawn open as Ji-yoon, which is representing a lot of defense. That is a lot of defense.
It is, but
is it enough?
Is it enough? This is rough. This is rough. Without game with game on board, and you don't know if he has another rusher in hand. Like, there's a lot of factors.
But if Ji-yoon can survive this turn and keep any semblance of the bodies that they have in play, we might have turned the other corner because now Rob's hand is very low. Their life essentially is looking a lot lower than it used to as well. So if Ji-yoon can make it past this turn, I think we can go beyond the cusp of the aggro and then get into the realm that green-purple wants to live in of grinding for advantage and getting just a bunch of pluses every single turn.
I think Rob has four cards in hand, or is it 5?
I think 3 or 4. Yeah, 3 or 4, something like that.
But on top of that, though, he still has 2 life. I think really you just test the waters with your first swing, and if it looks like you're about to be walled out, you just start swinging on the board. Like, I think that's just
we did use the leader ability. Okay, so we are at 6K. Okay, that's worth noting. I thought we didn't use it as Ji-hoon. So yeah, he does have to attack into a 6K leader, which does make going for game a little harder now all of a sudden.
And Ji-hoon definitely does have a fair amount of cards in hand right now.
Yeah, plus the 3 Dawn active is representing a ton of defense.
Oh,
but there we see a Ranger
we're about to
go
up too. We are about to go up too.
Going for the purple 4-drop Ranger to try to refill our hand. Draw back up to 5. Use the Reiju ability for leader to draw another card.
Just like that, back at 6 cards in hand. Literally only 1 card beneath Ji-yoon, but with arguably a more threatening board. So,
ooh, is this an Ichiji? Oh, and there we see the baby Ichiji coming down for that perfect 4 Dawn math. It is worth noting, though, now that the 4-drop Reiju, the Porsche, and the leader can now no longer attack the opponent's leader. That's worth noting because they're 5K base. But thanks to the reduction of Sanji and Pudding, we can attack other things thanks to the effect of Ichichi.
Yep. So this is about to. Yep. He's gonna try to start draining the hand, and at any point, these Ichijis can turn towards face, and that's the scary part. Swinging at this to know that you're just gonna get cards out of his hand. Because like, what happens when? I mean, yes, he's representing some event-based defense, but when you're just going in on this Sanji pudding over and over again, just knowing that you still have your biggest swingers on board.
Yeah, like basically attacking the Sanji pudding is the same thing as attacking Ji-hoon to win the game, because he has to protect the Sanji pudding, because if he loses this Sanji pudding and doesn't have another one, it's for sure over. But there we see the giant being used to stop a 5k attack. I want to point out that again. It's being used to stop a 5k attack. The most powerful defensive tool in the entire game is stopping a 1k attack, essentially. Gonna get the draw.
All right.
I mean, if you're Rob, you're just going, okay, so Ji-hoon can just stop everything. Do you attack with your Ichijis then? He's going to choose to do so. Because there was a world where you don't attack with them, leave them active, and leave them impervious to any removal.
Oof, that was huge. So at this point, you have to decide whether... Oh, sorry?
Oh, I was just going to say, I think Ji-hoon's happy just to get another turn here. I don't think he cares about Sanji pudding anymore.
Another turn definitely is where it's at. Another turn is where it's at. But at this point, he might have just lost the once again lost the ability to go for game next turn. I mean, he could pull a huge rusher off the top, but his Dawn is extremely low. He's going back up to 5.
And he has no way to refuel it.
Yeah, he's going up to 5.
Both these decks playing at super low Dawn amounts. There's actually probably a strategy for Ji-hoon to make his Dawn go lower than Rob's, if that makes sense, because that would stop a lot of the Vinsmoke's abilities from activating if you have more Dawn than your opponent. But that's like such a risky line of play that's probably not worth it. But it is something funny you could do.
Yeah, and purple, man. Purple.
It's like, guys, what if we never got to turn to 10 Dawn? Would that be a problem? The answer is probably not, because those cards you're playing are pretty good.
Yeah, they're doing so much, but like this is rough now. This is really rough.
Because you have no access to any rushers. You have no access to any kind of way to control the board effectively, because everything that's really scary is base 7k power, which is really hard to attack into with your base 5 and 6k stuff.
Oh, he's going Zoro for 7 right now.
That's got to be at leader, right? Like I don't see a better attack really, but I'm not sure where it's going.
And it is going at leader. Okay. The confident take shows me that he's not afraid of what's coming out next.
Yeah, he's like, I know what I need to do next turn, and it doesn't matter what life total I'm at, if that makes sense. Like, he knows what he's doing, and so he's like, who cares if I'm at 0 or 1? It's the same thing.
So trying to decide where he goes with this current swing, going in for another 7. Now this one may be the one that gets blocked. You don't want to go down to 0 life and then just have something random weird happen. So
I mean, we could bait, we could take it. We could take it, feign weakness, and then force Ji-hoon to go, okay, all Dawn on leader, activate leader ability, swing for 10 or 11, and just go, okay, cool, 4 2Ks, game. You know what I mean? Oh, we're taking it. We're going to 0. Hold on, folks.
He took it.
We're using leader ability. Ji-hoon is pulling out all the stops. We're swinging 9.
He did that so fast, and that just shows how much counter Rob has in his hand.
2K, 1K, going up to 10. We are a 6K leader, but we are Dawnless. We are squadless.
See,
and now Rob is just about to go, all right, time to attack.
We have seen so many bait plays in just these 3 matches alone, but I am very surprised that Rob gave the obvious, yeah, I'll take that, when it could easily be an all-in on the leader. And then Gian was like, yeah, got to all-in on this leader, got to see if he has. And I'm just like, yo, I mean, I guess, but that's kind of rough. And now we're sitting here watching the rest of the hand get bled.
We love a classic bait. I love a good bait play in One Piece. But there we go. We're out of counter.
There we go.
Rob wins it for New York. They came off of a 0-1 start with Will losing to Vegapunk in the first round. But both Connor and Rob said, don't worry, boys. We got this. And they brought it home for New York. Congratulations. And congratulations to Ji-hoon as well. for representing New Jersey very proudly and playing purple green Luffy.
Yep, New York. No, but like for real though, that was insane. We saw some really good matches. New York, like Brooklyn, they really did come through with like 3 aggressive decks, and they pulled it out.
Yeah, really. They did go full aggro. We love that.
Yeah, I was like, it was close to being a sweep. Like it was very close to being a sweep, and I know they have to feel good coming off of those wins, tightening it up for the following week. But we saw a lot of cool decks. It definitely seemed like the people from New York were playing like, yes, it was not like quite off meta, but it definitely was more roguish than not outside the Zoro. Whereas we saw pretty much meta on display outside of Egghead on New Jersey's team, and it came up. It came up a little short. It was interesting. That was man.
Like really the story of New York versus New Jersey was the story of like the aggro, more aggressively leaning decks versus the control-y / more mid-rangey leaning decks that want to fight for that late game presence rather than that early game tempo. So what came out on top? I guess aggro did. And that means Brooklyn, New York will be joining Chicago for the semifinal match on the 1st of November at 12 p.m. Central Time. So make sure you stay tuned for that first official semifinal match for the Pirates League One Piece official shop edition.
Yeah, and this is gonna be crazy. Like you said, Chicago versus Brooklyn, and I'm super excited. Like it was cool to see what happens here. I wonder what adjustments are gonna be made with the decks, like what they're going to try to just like change, because sometimes you don't want people to see your spice and just kind of counter pick you or know what you're going for. So I'm wondering if they're going to go through with the same decks because they're comfortable with them, or whether they're going to switch it up to try to get an edge on the other team. But the one thing I can say is that this was just a very, very cool event. Now, when it comes to the matchups we saw here, like you were talking about the aggressive decks versus the control-y decks, and when it comes down to it, it's rough because when an aggro deck faces a control deck, the onus is on the control deck not just to win, but to survive in order to even see a chance of winning. So you're already kind of playing from the back foot. Am I even going to get to the best stage of my game? And then before, like only after that, when you get there, maybe at 2 life, 1 life, like that's when you can start playing the game, when you're on death's door. So I do think that that's a very scary place to be in, and we saw it multiple times. These aggro decks really get under these mid-range or control decks before they could get to their full stride, and that was really good. Like sometimes you choose a deck and it just happens to be the excellent meta call, and you just proceed to profit off that, and I think that's what really happened.
1000%. I always think it's important to figure out how are you going to win. And unfortunately, in the aggro versus control matchup, sometimes the control player is not thinking about how to win. They're thinking about how to survive, which is a really tough place to be when the aggro player just gets to make plays that are rewarding just for playing the game, where you have to make the perfect plays possible just to have a chance, which is pretty rough.
Yep, literally that forward tempo. Aggro deck is doing what it was built to do. The control deck is doing what it can. And that's rough. That is rough. But hey, man, we're here for it. Like we're here for it. Those are some exciting games.
Yes. And I'm glad that everyone watching at home and potentially at the rivaling stores are watching as well. I'm sure the people in Chicago are taking notes as to the way the Brooklyn players play and as to the kinds of decks they're liking. They're remembering. Oh, they like aggro. Got it. So when November rolls around, they can be better prepared. And for everyone that is watching from a local official shop that is getting ready for their next round, are y'all excited? Are you more nervous? Let us know. And good luck to all of y'all.
No. So
awesome, and I want to go for it.
I know, man, we butted heads a little bit. Sorry.
No worries.
We were given messages from the great beyond. It's that voice of all things. Now, just wanted to say here, though, we do want to give a special congratulations to the players, and we will actually have some people on screen there. But for everybody that is currently watching this Play_Bandai Card Games YouTube channel, this will be the channel where a lot of official streams are placed, where we're moving forward and we're going to try to put all of this stuff on one channel so it's consolidated. You don't have to look to find these things. all of them are in one place. So if you guys have been enjoying the content, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let us know that we're doing well. Let us know that this is something you want to have, all this consolidated gameplay, and make sure that the channel grows. It's weird saying that for a channel. It's not my channel, but hey, we're all Bondi shills here, and
if it all, hey. The Raising Grand line raises all boats, and I did want to give a quick shout out while we're celebrating things to this new channel. Let's also celebrate the New York team once again. Congratulations to Will, congratulations to Connor, and congratulations to Rob for representing their shop very valiantly. Y'all are going to the semifinals, and that is just super exciting to see. I think in just a moment we're going to see them soon with their happy faces to get their quarterfinals prizing, and then also celebrate them moving on to the semifinals.
Yep. But yeah, that was heat.
It's always it's always weird when like an event like this is over, but it's not also really over because it's happening today, but just as one section of it. And then weeks later, the next round will happen. And then weeks later, the next round will happen. And then weeks even after that, the finals will happen. It kind of like elongates the excitement. Whereas today we got the stress and the drama of watching a team win, but now we're getting the sort of anticipation of what the next two teams are going to look like as they compete for the semifinal rounds.
Oh yeah. Like I said, there's so many adjustments to be had. I mean, you gotta, like I was talking about before, you really have to decide whether you're going to double down, whether you're going to switch it up. The other team now sees what they're capable of, and they have to decide whether or not they're going to try to meet them on a more aggressive plane, or whether or not they're going to try to counterpick the potential counterpick and play something more controlled. Like, that's the hardest part about going into matches like this. This whole team, New York's whole team, gets switched to more mid-range decks, and maybe just keep Reiju, who can kind of play a little bit between combo, aggro, and mid-range. And then you could be stuck trying to figure out where you need to hit these from. You could play an aggro, or you can go more aggressive and get bodied by their mid-range. Or you could stick with your mid-range and they switch to mid-range and you guys have more even fights. There's so many different nuances that can go in. And so I am kind of wondering how this matchup in a couple weeks is going to go.
Yeah, and I don't want to put Rob on blast like that, but I'm pretty sure he's a Reiju main. If we see him playing anything else for the rest of this event, I'll be shocked because that deck is very blinged out and he wants to get his use out of it, I think.
Nah, hear me out. What if Rob comes back with a deck as blinged out as his Reiju deck? Like, I would just actually have to bow down.
He's like, guys, don't worry. I'm just built like this.
Yeah, like facts. You see me shining.
I stay being like this. Yeah. And just a reminder for everyone watching that the next time you can see the Pirates League is going to be on October 11th, the matchup of San Francisco versus San Jose. You might have different casters. It won't always be me. It won't always be Chris. There'll be a fun collection of faces from across the One Piece community talking about this awesome event as it unfolds for the next few weeks. So definitely stay tuned for that. And of course, if you can't make it for that one, you can probably make it for the October 25th one between San Diego and Cincinnati.
So yeah, we've got a lot of One Piece coming up in the next couple of weeks, and so I hope you guys are ready to see this whole tournament unfold. And it's also kind of a different kind of event. When you have time, so much time between these games, there's a lot more prep work that can go into it. There's a lot more chances, even when you win, to just reflect and see how you can do it even better the following week. So this is actually really cool. And I think the also cool part is that all the teams can watch all the other teams. You bet people were watching Chicago versus Atlanta. You can bet people watching Brooklyn versus Edgewater, and the other teams will constantly be watching how people play, because even if the decks can switch, the depth of a player can be a little hard to judge just by like seeing one game. But when you can see them over the course of multiple games, you can kind of see, are they a player that tends to be more aggressive, tends to make the more risky dives with the higher payoffs? Are they a player that tends to be a little more defensive? But we've got the winning team ready to take their prizes.
Speaking of getting our characters lined up for the next few weeks, there we see the stage. I think we just saw the three players that actually played in Will, Connor, and Rob, but they also had their alternate up there. That's right. Every team is actually consistent of 4 players, but there's 3 main ones and 1 fourth alternate. I believe their alternate was up there too, in case no one can make it for the actual scheduled rounds. But that was super nice to see. We love seeing the faces of the people that are going to be with us for, like you said, a number of weeks.
Yep, hopefully it'll be more than 1 week. That'll be pretty cool. Like, rooting for everybody here, because everybody's practicing, playing their hearts out, and it's really cool to be on a stage like this, because a lot of people have to travel to kind of get that recognition, to be on stream, to kind of show your medal. but like these players are coming in and they're doing what they can do for everybody to see. And you can see they're getting their sleeves now, the Sanji and the Nami sleeves. Those are really cool.
Love
showing
it.
their individual Jolly Rogers.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
We love
I mean,
to see
it looks nice. It looks nice. I want to see those Blackbeard sleeves later though.
Ooh,
Later
I
rounds,
bet you
the
those are
semifinals.
nice.
They're probably gonna be nice. Ugh. Good Z things. I want to see it. I want to see it. So yeah, no, this was cool. This was energetic. It's been a while since I've been on the mic for One Piece, and I was really happy to see these battles. And it wasn't just the same deck over and over again. Which, don't get me wrong, when you play in like a regional or a treasure cup, you just happen to know that once a certain amount of wins are accrued, you're going to be seeing like pretty much strictly meta, occasionally a rogue deck that's eaten off the meta. But it was really cool to see some matchups here that wouldn't necessarily be my first guess at any given moment for matchups that I'd see on camera. So I thought this was a very exciting one.
Round 1, I saw Vegapunk. I was happy. I was living on cloud 9 after that. Nothing else needed to happen for me. And like you said, Chris, it was an absolute pleasure to have you on the mic again. It's always awesome getting to talk with you. Your knowledge, your skill, your absolute crackling jokes is just the best to be around. So thank you so much for joining us today. It was an absolute pleasure for me too. And I want to thank everyone once again for watching the exciting Pirates League. Anything else you want to say, Chris, before we sign off?
Realistically, I just wanted to return the favor. Always a pleasure being on stage with you. Like, I think we go back and forth pretty well. And like, it's cool. Like you bring a good energy to whatever stage you are on. And I'm excited to be back at some other capacity throughout these weeks. I'm excited to see Steven on the mic again. I'm excited to see everybody compete because, at my heart, I am a competitor. And when you can see that fire and everybody going off, it just makes the event so much more hype, and it makes every play just have that much more weight. So I'm excited to see more games. I hope you guys are excited to see more games. One more time, make sure you like the video and make sure you hit that subscribe button for this channel. And yeah, I think if that's it, I think that's it for the event. This is a good show out.
Well, with all that being said, as always, y'all work hard, rest easy, and live well. And we will see you all next time. Bye-bye.
See ya.